Hello, I am Daniel Bloodworth. We're Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies podcast. This week, I am joined by Michael Huber.
Double XP week. Let's go. Dude, double XP and Thanksgiving is one of the best combos in humanity. For all of humanity.
Would they ever dare to rev it up to triple XP?
I feel like they have once, dude. Let me know, chat. I feel like they've done triple in something.
How does that stack with like a coat? Like if you get a coat out of a bottle of Mountain Dew or Monster?
Those don't stack to the... Okay. When they do a weekend, it's like, yo, that's nothing. The tokens and shit don't stack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Damiani.
How's it going, everyone?
Making it all happen in the control room, we've got Don Casanova.
Hello.
And Gabby watching over us. Hello. Sending the tweets. Isla is already out for her Thanksgiving trip.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving travel.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Play some games.
We are recording this 2 days early.
Yeah.
Obviously always makes me a little bit nervous for lack of headlines, lack of time to play games, but I actually think we've got quite a bit going on this week. We're going to be talking about our top turkeys of 2024. We're going to be talking about the new PSP coming. Sony's working on another handheld. It's coming. Everyone's got a handheld.
All right. Lucky me.
October sales report is a juicy one, so excited to dig into that. Nine Souls is out now on console, so Huber and I have gotten started. Donkey Kong Land. It's on Switch. Never played it before, so I'm going to talk about it.
Get it, yeah.
So there we go.
Sick.
Let's get into it. Our one news story, big news story at least, PlayStation Portable?
PS Portable
Vita
Vita?
2?
Yeah, PS Vita Portable.
It's alive. It's back to life.
Yeah.
Remember a couple weeks ago when Phil Spencer said they're working on handheld? Well, guess what?
Crazy.
Everyone doing a handheld.
Yeah.
You get a handheld. This isn't a handheld.
You get a
This is a handheld.
Yeah. Bloomberg reporting that Sony is in the, quote, early stages of developing a portable console that would be capable of playing PS5 games. Of course, it's still years away. That's what Xbox said, too.
Wow.
I don't know. What do you think?
Years away makes me a little, that's intriguing because you have to assume that Switch 2 is next year.
Yes.
So when these competitors come out, I'm interested to see how that all shakes out.
Right.
And if that affects Nintendo's plans in any way, or depending on what Switch 2 does, if that'll, if they're kind of waiting to see Switch 2, that's why it's years away. They're like, let Nintendo do Switch 2 and then we will pivot and, pivot accordingly.
Right. Make sure that there's nothing in there that's like, oh, whoops, we should have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because the hardware in Switch 2 is probably already locked and it's already the hardware is going to be dated. The fact that they say it wants to play PlayStation 5 games means that handheld has to be pretty beefy. So I think it's just that it's going to take time to make a machine that isn't going to cost $1,000+ that's going to be able to play PS5 games. And if it's 4 or 5 years away, that'll be really far into the PS5, possibly PS6 starts, life cycle. It wouldn't be might be a little bit more cost effective to lock down the parts now. What are the cheaper end ones? I think they're under $1,000, right?
I think they're under $1,000, but I don't know the number off the top of my head. But that's the other thing too, is Valve is also holding up, we're not going to do a Steam Deck every other year or something like that. But if you're talking a couple years away, you might be getting the next Steam Deck at that point.
Yeah. I think it's just making sure it's cost effective, and it takes time to finalize the hardware build for it. So if they're just starting now, you're not going to see it for a few years. My question is, it seems like this is definitely going to be a dedicated handheld, not literally a hybrid like Switch. None of these things are doing the hybrid thing. They're doing the dedicated handheld approach.
That'd be crazy if it was.
I don't think it's gonna.
Though, Damiani, because you can get a dock for the Steam Deck and use it just like a PC.
Yeah,
so
I
think that's an element that might be there regardless.
I mean, they
not
might have
replacing a PS6, but
I think so. The point I'm trying to drive at is like, if it's that reason or it's another reason. Historically, Sony has not had the greatest first-party support on their handhelds. They've not had the same mandate that Nintendo has with Switch, and in the past, where they had like strong first-party support on Nintendo portable platforms, which is why they sold very well, and also not relying on such proprietary memory stuff where Nintendo thankfully allowed us to use more readily available SD, micro SD and SD memory cards to, do or expand our save storage capacity on that. Sorry, not save, but. If there's no mandate from Sony first party to support them with like quality releases, and all the most important games from Sony's IPs are on PlayStation 5 / PlayStation 6, whatever next gen hardware is, and you're just getting spin-offs on the handheld, there obviously be some good ones, but I don't know how successful that's going to be. Whereas right now, I think people are hoping that the potential there is that it gets broad support so that console and the handheld from Sony kind of have like the same library on it, and so that you pick or choose
games specifically. So I kind of don't think it's going to get unique games.
That's my personal hope, is that like they've learned the lessons from like PSP. I thought was very successful. Vita not quite as much, and if they can learn from those past mistakes of Vita specifically, and look at what Nintendo's done and what Steam Deck has done so well in terms of integration and offering more choice, I think there's a lot of demand for a Sony handheld that can deliver that as well and have Sony first-party products on there.
No exclusive, no buy for me. Pointless.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because with Vita, at least, it was like, I was living in San Francisco at the time, I could take it to go, but they had like Persona 4 Golden, one of my favorite games, and you could really only play it on Vita.
Right.
Like, if it's just a portable console, like, I as a consumer don't need that, but I know that the handheld market is huge and people use their handhelds everywhere.
Yeah.
But for me personally, if it's just lesser powered portable console, like, that doesn't really excite me.
That's a big part of like with me and Steam Deck. It's like, okay, my laptop can, already play most games. This, obviously you can't run everything.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't need to get a Steam Deck on top of that. But that's the thing that makes me wonder, because if we're talking about playing PS5 games, you're talking about something that's probably on the same power range as a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Or probably more by the time we get to that point.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, because it's such a weird thing to compare, because I do think that in terms of like the market, right, in terms of like how popular these things are, it's like we know a ton of people that have Steam Decks because we're in the industry, but realistically, it's like not that many Steam Decks being sold.
I've never met a civilian with a Steam Deck
console, right? There's nothing compared to a Switch. So I am curious if a PlayStation that was as big and bulky and heavy and power consuming as a Steam Deck came out, would it do as well? But at the same time, like the PlayStation Portal, which is just, it's just an accessory, is the top selling accessory.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of weird little dimensions to
definitely.
What is this thing going to do? Same thing with Xbox. Will either of these things actually be finished and come out as a real product?
Yeah. There's a lot of things for them to juggle here. I think form factor is going to be incredibly important for it. PSP and I think Vita both are very slick and stylish, and I think there's going to be that
friggin' fingerprints, though, man.
But I mean, it's going to be viewed as, I think people will still view it as a premium product and will be willing to pay for it. It's like your like iPhone. Like, people are willing to pay for the better model sometimes because they want it. It's part function, but it's also part like a status thing, I guess. And Sony has been catering to a little bit of that, that demographic for a while. Like, Sony has been the more pricey, the more expensive place to play games in general for their hardware, but you're getting quality. Generally, you're getting quality and better performance historically for that stuff. So I think that matters a lot. I don't think it can just look like a Switch or a Steam Deck or any of the like spin-offs that you've seen that have been like those Steam Deck like clones.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it has to have that unique kind of like Sony PlayStation feel to it. That's one. Price, I think they can be a little bit more expensive than Switch and even like, in Steam Deck range comparatively for when it releases, like obviously price adjusted for a few years. If it is going to deliver, it's like, if it comes out within this decade, I would say, and it can play any PlayStation 5 game at like 1080p, same frame rate, 60 frames, 30 frames, whatever the games natively ran on PS5. That's going to be pretty impressive. And running like maybe first gen like PS6 games on it, maybe like, a comparable resolution and frame rate. That's going to take a lot of tech and hardware to get that. So like I would expect it to shoot up to the higher echelon, like closer to the $1,000 range than closer to the $500 range, which is probably where Switch is probably shooting for. But I imagine they're going to not let it get too out of control. I'm thinking like it's not going to be like actually $1,000.
Maybe
I think
dude,
it will probably
$700. Like things are getting out of control.
I mean, it just depends what price of like their hardware is going to be around that point, and I think it'll be priced appropriately to be a little bit less than whatever their current flagship model is at that time.
Right.
So
like
if it's PS5 Pro still, or it's PlayStation 6, so PS5 Pro $700, I could see this coming in at like $599, being like a $600 handheld.
Pay up.
One thing I was thinking of, which is interesting, that we basically already like quietly answered this question, is everything that we're comparing it to is a Steam Deck or a Switch or something. Like they're all fairly large, right? Like we've like clearly like graduated beyond the size of a 3DS or a Vita or a PSP. It's like you're not sticking this thing in your pocket.
No, dude.
Because it's like anything. If you could, I guess the idea is it's like people are just going to play something that could do that on their phones, right? Like you can play Fortnite and Genshin and PUBG and all this stuff on your phone.
Electro.
Right. Exactly. And
That's all I
so
need, I'm good.
if you're going to spend the money on a portable system, you want it to actually play the higher tier of games, like the higher production value games.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a very different mindset than the old handheld market.
Yeah. Which makes me also, on that regard, it does make me curious what path they will choose if this pans out to connect it to the current generation of console hardware they have, whether it's PS5 or PS6. I imagine it'll connect to both regardless if it ends up panning out. Will they do, transferring nonsense? Are they going to do like an actual like dock, like Switch style? Are they going to do something like PlayStation TV, like they did with Vita, where it's like a set top thing that like is its own device? I'm curious how that or does machine just directly connects? You don't even need a dock. It just like they build off of their existing tech, and go off that. I don't know how they're going to approach it, but I imagine there will definitely be something there because I think they want some kind of like hook like that. And I imagine one of the things they will say is that, you don't need a dock or anything. It's like, you're playing your PlayStation 5 Pro or your 6 or whatever. You hit the button on your, bring up the menu option. There's going to be like a new thing on like the home screen or whatever. You hit that, resume on your like PlayStation Portable 2, whatever they call it, and go out and you keep playing. And and then you go out and it's like portable. And when you come back, you can like send it back to the console and go on there. And like it will cloud sync everything. So like even if you turn it off when you're gone, everything will be synced. So like they're going to have like all that going. And I think it's just going to be meant to be for people who want to play on the go. And also they're going to market it as something for like the second person experience.
Exactly.
So like you don't need to buy a second PlayStation 5 or 6 if you got kids. It's like, here's the one for the family room. Here's the one for the kids to go play. Yeah, exactly.
If you're lucky enough to be married with kids and they all game, like obviously handhelds are way more valuable to you because you need that second screen, third screen, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite things ever with Vita actually was being able to play PS1 classics on there. That was actually my favorite thing. I hardly played new games. I played like Persona and Killzone and PSP ones like Jeanne d'Arc and shit. But PS1 Classics on the go was really fun. So I'd like for them to, pursue that a little harder. Same with Xbox. If Xbox does a handheld, let me play your back catalog on the go. That to me is more fun than playing watered down versions of newer games portable. No thanks. If I'm going to play, Uncharted or something, I want to do it on my, maximum hardware.
Yeah.
But with those older games like PS1, PS2, Xbox 360, that's awesome. Being able to take those on the go.
One thing I'm pretty confident in is this thing if it pans out, it's going to be all digital. They will not mess around with a physical media
I think you're
version.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've already...
What would they even do? They're not going to stick a disk drive on it.
We're going to get UMDs back.
Yeah.
UMHDs.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting because, you essentially, now that they've unlocked the cloud streaming on the portal...
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to unlock cloud streaming the games you own on Xbox.
Yeah.
Right?
That transition should be so easy.
It's to even release something else, it's you've got to be able to install on it. You've got to be designing this thing so that you can use it even when you don't have a signal. Mm-hmm. So you can be on a train or something like that.
Yeah, that's my question is because we've already seen them experiment with cellular versions.
Oh gosh, the Vita. Yeah.
Will they dare to try and do something like that again?
I don't think so.
Is Wi-Fi just so prevalent now that if you pay up for it, you can get Wi-Fi anywhere through your internet provider, like Comcast or AT&T, whatever they provide, pretty much Wi-Fi, whatever it's called, Beyond or something that you can get outside your home and at any place of business, and most businesses have that, or they actually try and partner up with providers again. That seems like a logistical nightmare because of the different regional
it's not
variances. Where I think there's maybe ISPs might be a little bit easier to deal with than phone companies.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have that crossover now. They're kind of indistinguishable sometimes.
I think the main thing that's interesting here is just how everyone's coming for Nintendo's piece of the pie.
But that's what's so weird to me, Huber, because it's why now?
Because you're waiting.
Why?
Well, because Switch 1 was already a lockdown, dude. Switch 1 dominated that market. If you're coming in, if you're reacting late, it's not going to be as good, and it's not going to be as smart. You wait until the next gen to really have that runway. I mean, you look at Marvel versus DC, I'll bring up as an example, right? The DCEU tried to fucking immediately make an MCU, and it's no, that did not work. That was a bad idea. So I think the competitors were just biding their time, waiting to see how this all shook out with, Switch 1 is ending now, so we're going into Switch 2. I think it just makes sense to at least be in the ring with them. You're not going to beat them, you're not going to dominate them, but at least you're not just surrendering that entire market share to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. There's probably some truth in that. I mean, Nintendo did motion controls with Wii, and then all of a sudden you had Move on Sony PlayStation 3, and then you had Xbox Kinect, and it was they kind of rushed into those, and they had some maybe initial success, but didn't, it was just kind of just trying to follow the leader. I think you're a little bit right on that, where I think they were taking their time to, make sure if they're going to do this, do it a little bit right, instead of just literally trying to one-to-one copy a competitor or put their spin on a competitor thing. The other thing I think that's pretty important is in, Sony and the Japanese market and markets where handheld mobile sales are dominating.
Yeah,
you're seeing the console PlayStation 5 and is just not selling as well as it as handhelds are doing. Switch had been constantly beating consoles there left and right because it is just something that more people want to play there. And I think they're losing out on a lot of market share in various territories, and that things are now dictating that they kind of need to have this now. Their console offerings used to be so strong and held such a strong market share, but I think they're just seeing that they're leaving too much money and losing too much ground, and it's not great business to, when you see something you could be addressing, just to let it still become a larger problem and neglect it. So I think they're just going to attack this so they can remain competitive in certain markets that they don't want to give up on. But the console versions, console hardware just doesn't seem to cut it anymore. It's just falling too far behind.
Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder how much of the Steam Deck played into it, because I think maybe there was, kind of like you're saying with trying to chase the Wii. Like, I wonder if there was this sense of like, yeah, Nintendo can do that and they'll blow up, and if we try to do, nothing's going to happen. But then they see the Steam Deck actually being successful, and like, all these people asking for games to be made compatible, and now developers are basically have a pipeline to do this. So maybe that, helps them to be like, okay, we can start playing around with this.
Interesting where it
still feels really, it's going to be more than 10 years after the Switch.
Yeah.
It feels late.
And it's weird. Maybe the PlayStation Portal was like a Band-Aid, like a half measure. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of, you just get that out.
They did
and
the Wii U, and now they're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. PlayStation Portal
really
is the
just
Wii
following
U.
it, huh?
I will say,
anecdotally, I do know you were talking about like people who have like families and kids or young kids at least that like
handheld rocks for them.
It feels like if they have the means, those types of families are having multiple handhelds seems more normal.
Totally.
In those households.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it must be nice, but it's like they got like they're sharing like a parent's phone and like a family tablet, and then like maybe they have their like personal, like, this is the thing. This is what I was saying earlier. Sony's generally been like a premium product. It does aim for, I think, like, people have a little bit more disposable income to spend on those types of things. It's been hit or miss. We've seen like, PlayStation VR and VR2. I mean, it caters to enthusiasts, but people have a lot of disposable income to support those types of business endeavors. And I think there is still money probably to be made in that there are certain, wealthier individuals, wealthier families that want to spend more and will support multiple handhelds. And they know that there's another place that they're missing out, and sees a possibility for expansion.
Right, because like you're saying, like, Switch from like year 2, like Nintendo is like, okay, we're moving into like selling
to a house,
to everybody in the household, not just one per house, right? Xbox from the start of this generation is like, Series S, you can put it in the bathroom, do whatever, They've always had like a secondary system.
Series S in the bathroom
that you could use. But a PlayStation 5 feels like you buy this one PlayStation 5, you stick it by the TV in the living room, and it stays there.
It's your hub.
Yeah. And everybody just plays off of that. They don't have anything other than the Portal, which still, until now, is needed to connect to a PS5.
Yeah.
I'll also say, Huber, like, it seems like it's a thing of means, but sometimes, like, as a parent, like, you argue sidebar the argument over it's good parenting or not, but like, one of the easiest ways to get kids to just like behave and focus is giving them a tablet or a handheld device with games or something or YouTube or whatever, and they will just give you a moment of peace and respite.
My must be nice
it's viewed as essential to some people. They're willing to pay that because they're like, I don't care. They have to have it because I'm going to go insane or something. So I like, some things people are willing to like bend a little bit more on, like, their budgets and their finances. Yes.
My must be nice was not about finances. It was just about having a family of gamers. Where that's even an option.
My bad.
Must be nice,
sorry.
Dude. Everyone, the family's gaming. Like, wow.
Well, I would say like a lot of kids in general, just like there's just more appeal to a lot of like games nowadays. It just has a like broader demographic, especially when you go skew younger. It's just, I don't think it is as lucky. It's just like there's just so many different types of games now that's like almost hard to see someone just not be into them if they're just like into like using a phone, period. If you're using a phone, there's some kind of thing that you're going to engage with that feels gamified that you're just kind of like exposed to and going to be, you're going to find enjoyable. So you'd be willing to play more things like that. So it just might not be like the games we play or have played in the past. It might just be different types of experiences.
Gotta play Roblox. Got to do it.
No.
I mean, Roblox is one of them.
I got to do it.
You better watch. It's like,
do we have any guesses on the name?
Scammers and thieves, dude.
Over the holidays.
Be very careful if you jump into Roblox.
Yeah.
I'm going to stream it once. We're doing it.
Lock that. Yeah, put your credit card on watch.
You're just going to accidentally like walk into some sex den in Roblox.
Any name guesses for this? Because we had PlayStation Portable and then PlayStation Vita. So, I don't know. You think you're getting fun names you want to guess? Like guessing what these.
Oh,
names are.
fun name.
PlayStation. I don't know.
They already did PSP Go as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. PSP Go.
Yeah.
PlayStation Breeze.
You might think they might just keep it simple, and like if it is like just PS5, I mean, but I don't know if they put a number in it because that'd be confusing as hell. Like I was gonna say, like PS5 portable,
PS5S,
the PS5P, portable. Like, I mean, maybe they just call it PlayStation Portable again. It's like you're not gonna buy the old one by mistake. It's not sold anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what do you like?
Why not?
Like, I honestly thought like you need to start numbering it or something if they want to go through that convention because it seems like numbering seems to be like the easiest way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They messed it up with Vita though, because would it be PSP 3,
PSP 5,
or PSP 2? Because it was PSP 2, but it's the third
but they already had
handheld.
like 2,000 and 3,000, right?
Yeah. What do? They locked themselves out.
I don't know what other. I mean, and then they come up with. We got Wii and Amiibo and stuff, so it's like, who knows?
Either way, talking about new consoles is very fun. New tech, new consoles, new gen, new era incoming. Let's go.
But remember, there was that big Xbox leak, all that stuff that got out in the court documents was supposed to happen this year.
Yeah.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, Switch 2.
Don't have that new Xbox
Switch 2 is supposed to happen this year. We don't do it.
Yeah, I was looking back. It was people predicting September. Like, no, we don't got it.
Seriously.
So. Let's move on to some things we do got, though.
Yo, next year Sorry.
What's that?
Next year is going to be one of the most insane years in the industry. Just with GTA and Switch 2 and these, like, portable... Oh, they're years away. I guess,
those are years away. Yeah.
Still,
not
crazy.
Next year at all. Definitely.
Crazy.
The October sales report is in from Matt Piscatella of Circana. U.S. October spending in dollar sales grew by 10% in October compared to a year ago.
Wow.
You know why?
Horror.
Nope. Just the easiest little sleight of hand. Call of Duty moved from coming out in November to coming out in October.
Call of Duty.
And that shifted the numbers
One
around.
of the best Call of Duties ever. One of the best ever. Write that down. Quote me on that.
Year-to-date spending is now 1% higher for the year than it was at this point last year, at $45.4 billion.
It's a lot of zeros.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, this is a fun report overall. Non-mobile subscriptions.
Non-mobile subscriptions.
Grew by 16%.
Sub up.
Primarily because...
Call of Duty endowment.
Call of Duty on Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. That's it.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Before we get into the top, mobile, Monopoly Go is still on top, but it saw a 20% decline in revenue last month. Meanwhile,
Heretic. Watch that movie.
What?
Monopoly. Just
okay.
Moving on.
Meanwhile, according to Samuel On of Sensor Tower, quote, another huge story is the recent release of Pokemon TCG Pocket, which is looking like the launch of the year. The game has already passed the $30 million worldwide in-app spending milestone a week after launch, with 22% of that coming from the US, 44% coming from Japan. So, Pokemon still gigantic.
The biggest.
And then on the hardware front, hardware dropped 23% in October compared to last year. Switch is down 38%.
Get wrecked, PS Pro.
PS5 is down 20%.
A brand new console and it's down that much? Woo.
Xbox is down 18%.
Oh, wait. Pro is in November.
I think so.
So then next month might be a little,
not there.
little bit. Yeah. But I know it didn't. I know it like kind of underperformed a little bit.
Yeah. So October top 20 is really fun because we got a pile of new games here.
Call of Duty.
The top 7 is all new.
Call of Duty.
And then we got 2 other new games. And yes, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is on top. It debuted as the third highest selling game of the whole year.
Damn, not first. That's not good enough, Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Gotta
what the
do better
hell?
next year.
Slipping.
Come back next year.
Yep, try again.
Comparing the first 2 weeks in the market, Black Ops 6 sales were 23% higher than Modern Warfare 3 last year.
Good. Modern Warfare 3 is trash.
PlayStation accounted for 82% of Black Ops 6 full game dollar sales.
Dang.
Say it one more time.
PlayStation accounted for 82% of full game
And it's on
sales.
Game Pass.
And it's,
Microsoft.
well, that's the thing. People got it on Game Pass. Game Pass went up 16, or subscriptions went up 16%.
Crazy.
But people bought the game, 82% PlayStation.
Jeez.
Gotta keep that multi-platform.
Yeah. Good grief. Crazy. That was number one, right? You said?
Yeah, that was number one.
All
so
right, I
we
got-
have 8 more newbies.
Metaphor.
Metaphor.
Oh yeah, Metaphor was last month.
5th
Yeah.
place.
Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill
Oh, yeah.
2. 3rd place.
Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball's gonna be high.
Dragon Ball is 2nd place.
Yep.
Yo,
Huber.
Anime, baby.
Dragon Ball
Don't fuck with
Sparking
anime.
Zero was the 2nd best-selling game of October and the 4th best-selling game of 2024.
Dude, it's Goku, man.
Wow,
You can't
really? Right behind Call of Duty,
Right
Dragon
behind
Ball.
Call of Duty.
Crazy,
Look
dude.
out,
Check
Call of
your
Duty.
review.
As soon as they make, Dragon Ball Black Ops, then you're in trouble.
In its first month, it became the best-selling Dragon Ball game in lifetime dollar sales,
I've got a lot of them.
and it ranked 3rd among all of Bandai Namco releases, only
Alright.
behind Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3.
One,
right.
two,
We'll stream
1-2
it.
punch last month
We'll stream it,
for
Chad, this
Dragon
week.
Ball. You had that, and the new show debuting on Netflix.
Yeah.
So
I just never.
a little bit of a lightning rod
You
for
know
Dragon
me.
Ball.
You know my weird parameters with catching up and stuff. You know me. I'm a freak.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I haven't played Sparking is because I never finished Dragon Ball Super. I'm just like, That's it. That's the only reason, Damiani. All those storylines, man. I don't want to experience them in game
starts off
form
early.
first. Yeah.
We still got 5 more newbies on this list.
I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Oh.
Dance.
Nope.
What?
I think that might be November.
What?
Um,
no.
where's
But Just Dance is not
there's
on
two.
Really?
I know two.
Are you serious? No Just Dance?
No, it hasn't really been that strong. It's still coming out, but what is it? Damiani?
Oh, we had what's the Mario Party last month? Which one was it?
Mario Party Jamboree.
Mario Party Jamboree.
Dang, that's not top 3.
7th place.
Good job.
Ugh.
Not counting digital sales.
Not
Remember
counting
that.
digital.
I don't know.
Not counting
Okay.
digital.
And
Actually,
then,
the best Mario Party ever made.
and then where was Sonic?
Sonic X Shadow Generations is at 9th place.
Wow. Mm-hmm. From last month, I'm gonna say Zelda.
No, that was before.
No, but I mean, is it on the list at all?
Yeah, it's in 12th
Echoes?
place.
12th place. Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
Echoes?
Yeah.
they dropped it 8 places because people were unhappy about the timeline placement.
Just happened like yesterday.
Right.
The backlash, dude. Timeline backlash.
That's right. That's how the timeline works.
Huber, you should
Influences
definitely
the
know at
past
least
and
one
present.
of these.
Oh, wait. Can I ask my question? It probably did
Strange.
not come back yet. Oh.
Life is Strange is at 18.
18.
Oh, I made
All
it.
right. It charted. Let's go. Even with all the backlash.
I would guess it will not come back till next month, but so I'm guessing no Mario Kart 8 Deluxe didn't return back this month, right?
No.
Okay.
There's so many new things. It got pushed.
I know
It's gonna
one.
come. It's gonna come back
it-
next month.
It is a pleasure to say this. I know this. Red Dead Redemption. PC version.
What?
PC version came out. It was huge.
And then it wasn't in this range.
finally
then,
came
I guess.
out.
Then it probably wasn't in this date range.
Probably
It's
digital
meant to-
shit. Yeah, digital. That's why.
Oh, that's right. 2K does not
Yeah.
support
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you
How
go.
about the Batman VR game?
Take 2, I mean.
Batman VR?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Not a
The
chance.
reviews are off the charts. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but not a chance. It's a VR game. Come on. What? What's
There's two left.
Never
what
underestimate the
VR
bat.
only game has charted like, has it been Alex? Has Alex been the only like one?
Probably.
Did that even
I don't know
chart?
if that chart.
Dude,
yeah.
Batman
did
is more
any VR
popular
game
than
ever chart?
Half-Life.
I mean, that's true.
Batman is so popular.
There are two newbies. One I doubt you will get. The other one slid in right at the end of the month.
Wait, 2 new games still that we haven't gone yet?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Damn.
What came
Yeah, I
out
don't
last
know.
month?
We got a lot. I give up at this point.
All right. Fourth place was Undisputed, the boxing game.
Oh. Huh.
What?
Yep. Fourth place.
What?
And then sixth place, Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Dragon.
Oh,
Right
yeah, that
there,
came out.
Halloween.
Yeah. Dragon Age.
Dang, what a list.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Those are just the new guys.
That's some gnarly competition.
Any
Zelda.
surprises on there that we missed? Any like?
Well, Dragon Ball being number 2 is insane.
Oh, I meant like from like holdovers or anything, or anything that showed up that maybe wasn't new or.
Yeah, I mean, there is
what
one,
did we say?
one
Where's
guy
Elden
that
Ring?
hopped in there from out of nowhere.
Oh,
The Final Fantasy 1 through 6 bundle,
what?
19th place from 90.
Was there a sailor? Wait, what?
I want to
I do
say it
remember
was
sale.
re-released on something.
Oh, the physical. Did they re-release it
Yeah, I think that's a
physically?
physical edition.
Yeah, they finally, yeah, because it sold out so fast originally. They reissued the physical. Yeah,
Those are dope.
nice. Is Elden Ring still on the list?
Elden Ring is hanging in there, 20th place.
You know, okay, new FromSoft game announced when Elden Ring drops off.
There's
Some time for Game Awards.
No, Wukong.
Stellar Blade.
No.
Astrobot.
Yes.
I'm just
Oh,
naming the
Astrobot.
goaties.
15. 15th
Oh yeah,
place
because
for
it's only its
Astrobot.
second month, so it dropped quite a bit.
What else was there?
A lot of sports left.
Probably
Oh, yeah,
there's a lot of
NBA.
sports,
Yeah.
football
College
stuff
football,
probably right now.
NFL.
Yeah. Madden is at 8th. FC is at 10th. College football is at 11th. NHL is at 14th. NBA is at 17th.
Crazy.
So it's pretty much it.
Gamers love sports and guns and anime. The 3 pillars. Sports,
So-
guns, and anime, man. It makes the industry go around.
I got a few things after this, but let me run down the top 20. So 20 is Elden Ring. 19 is that Final Fantasy bundle. 18 is Life is Strange. 17 is NBA. 16 is Minecraft.
Of course.
15 is Astrobot. 14 is NHL. 13th is Hogwarts Legacy. 12th is Zelda. 11th is college football. 10th is FC, soccer, you know. 9th is Sonic X Shadow Generations. 8th is Madden. 7th is Mario Party. 6th is Dragon Age. 5th is Metaphor. 4th is Undisputed. 3rd is Silent Hill 2. 2nd is Dragon Ball. And 1st is Call of Duty.
Silent Hill, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Well done. Critically acclaimed horror franchise releasing
Silent Hill
in
above
October is,
Metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Guess
that
that's not-
October
that's not-
vibe,
you know what?
man.
That's not surprising.
Horror
yeah,
is
October
so
vibe. Silent Hill
popular.
2. It's
Yeah.
like a remake. It
Yeah.
has more pedigree.
I feel like horror has one of the
Metaphor-
biggest zeitgeists. Like, people
Yeah.
want to be included in the horror moments and discussions.
Metaphor is not Persona. It's not
Yeah.
Persona.
Yep,
Like
yep,
the name.
yep.
It's not called Persona.
Yeah,
If it was called Persona 6,
Yeah.
it would be like number 1. Or
For sure.
sorry, this month would probably be number 3 or 2.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it did pretty well for.
Oh yeah.
Brand new,
Like,
yeah. With a name
I
like
think-
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah.
Like, what? Well done.
Some other little things I picked up from Piscatella's report for the year to date. Those top 2 that are not beaten yet. College football is on top, and Helldivers 2 is in second place. So Call of Duty was not able to beat Helldivers 2 quite yet.
Crazy.
Probably next month, but
Crazy.
monthly active users. I love these because you can basically see what ended up on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So the Dead Space remake jumped up to 10th place on the PlayStation active users from 161st.
October. Everyone wants to be included.
Yeah, but
That's
I think
it.
I think it also got added to like PS Plus Premium or something.
Yeah. It's like horror in October. It's you got to do it.
And then
You got to
Huber
do it. You got to embrace it.
on Xbox.
It's like double XP on Thanksgiving.
On Xbox, joining Game Pass, going from 502nd place
Say it's Evil Within.
up to 9th place.
Say it right now. Feed me.
Sifu.
Sifu!
Okay, something else.
Yo!
A lot of people playing Sifu last month.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yes. Secret level watch party, Gabby. Let's go. Sifu.
And then we got some other financial reports, some more numbers. CD Projekt posted their financial report this week.
I saw this.
Saw the headline today.
Cyberpunk, 30 million units.
A little bit of a comeback story there, yeah.
Phantom Liberty,
Do you like when they say
8 million.
Do you like when they say units or copies more? What do you prefer?
Pieces, Japanese.
No.
When they say pieces,
Copies,
yes,
maybe,
pieces.
I guess, but
pieces.
whatever.
Pieces are the best. I love pieces.
30 million pieces.
Pieces is the best.
And alongside of that, they announced that the next Witcher game has moved from
there it is.
pre-production into full production. So they're full steam ahead now.
Yeah.
Also, PlayStation today put up a new 30th anniversary site, and that includes a lot of hardware numbers. In particular,
Here we go.
they list the PS2 at over 160 million.
Yo, is there, Damiani, I feel like we have a conspiracy brewing. Like,
This is
Sony
like-
knows if they just keep moving that goalpost,
Is this
Switch
yeah,
2
it's
will
like moving the
never
goalpost.
come out.
You know what? I mean, it's not quite the same, but it feels like was that the King of Kong documentary where Billy Mitchell shows up with the tape like right after, like Switch is like, we did it, and they're like, Sony's like, we got a tape right here.
we
It
go.
says we broke that already. Sorry guys, we did it 10 years ago. We just failed to inform you for 10 years. It's cool.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the situation, the last time we got an official report on PlayStation 2 numbers was in 2012 when they said it was 155 million.
Yeah.
And then, and then who was it that just left?
Shoe.
No, not Shu. Before that, who when he's the CEO.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on his name? Anyways, he left.
Ryan.
You talking
Yes,
about
Jim Ryan
Jim
left,
Ryan.
and he
Sorry.
said
Yep.
he said over 160, but
Yeah.
PlayStation's never said that before.
Yeah.
Now they're putting it in print. So what had happened was they had started reporting just unit sales that combined PS2 and PS3 before the PS2 had fully ended production.
Got it.
And so we didn't know what those later years brought.
I hope now Nintendo does like a direct when they beat the record with like
Yeah.
Miyamoto here. Like he holds up like a plaque.
Yeah.
161 million.
Got you.
Matt Pescatella had
What are we at for Switch? Do we know that number right now?
I don't have it off the top of my head. Damiani, do you have it off the top of your head?
It's like
I wanna say
146 million.
147, I think. Yeah.
Dude, we just need a quick like $100 off and a final
$100
push,
Yeah.
dude.
We need
$100 off push.
We don't have a $100
Probably
Switch
gonna
yet.
about to get
we
a
did
lot
have a
harder to sell
$100
those.
PS2.
Just be warned.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, look how long PS2 like took to get there. I mean, they'll be selling Switch 1s for, 5-10 more years
Yeah.
at least. Like it'll get there for sure.
Matt Pescatella followed up to say that by Circana's numbers, the PS2 sold 46.6 million in the U.S. So that makes the U.S. about 29% of the global total.
Wow.
And then the full list of numbers that are on Sony's site: PlayStation 1, 102 million. PlayStation 2 is 160 million. PlayStation 3 is 87 million.
Ouch. Cell processor.
And then the PS4 is 117 million.
Crazy. And what's
Bad.
PS5?
I mean,
They don't have it.
I think it's at
Not
no.
there.
I thought they said.
Why is everything
wasn't
so
it at,
secret?
They didn't say it on
89?
this website.
Why is everything so freaking secret?
They didn't list the portables either.
Release your numbers. God.
They have said it, but yeah.
It was
they
like
didn't put it on
breaking
there.
100 million. It's like still pretty good. Like very successful for a console nowadays.
Wild.
Yeah. So fun numbers.
Yeah.
But now we're done with numbers. It's time to talk about games with numbers.
Yeah.
9 Souls.
9 souls, dude. 9 souls. Holy shit.
We finally got to play 9 Souls.
Oh my
Huber was
goodness.
waiting for console, and then in Huber's waiting, I also got sent an extra code, so I started playing too. But yeah, you streamed it a little bit ago.
And then I played a ton on my own. Sorry,
it's out today.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, it's good stuff. The elevator pitch.
Hell yeah.
Is basically side-scrolling Sekiro.
Side-scrolling Hollow Knight Cross Sekiro vibes, and it is freaking amazing. It's so good. Like any good Metroidvania, Bloodworth and Damiani, I feel like both of you can really speak to this. There's always that moment in a great one where you're going through the game, and then a couple hours in, all of a sudden, it just starts clicking. And
right.
You just get that compulsive addiction of like needing to finish off zones, backtracking to zones to maybe discover something because you just got a power.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you start to recognize like, oh,
yes.
I've seen those things before. Yeah.
Yes, and that happened to me last night with Nine Souls, where I just got a couple abilities and started like really figuring out the map and just being able to read the game better.
Yeah.
And it was just really hard to put down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The premise is pretty intense. You get some word salad up front.
The prologue, I had Don skip to later in your stream because there's definitely a lot of story and slow walking and talking in the beginning. But yeah, it is pretty wild. It is pretty graphic.
Yes, this game is rated R.
Yeah, they even have like a disclaimer at the front. It's like, yeah, we know that our guy looks like a cute cat, but please don't have your kids play this game.
Oh no, this cute cat, this he's my favorite. He smokes a pipe to heal his health, and he gets drunk to raise his max health. You can like give a guy these items and you sit down and you start drinking, and he's like, yeah, good drinking buddies are hard to find. Like the screen gets all like crazy and it's like maximum health increased. I'm like, all right.
But there's also just like a lot of stuff with like just bodies getting ripped apart and all of that. And,
some really unexpected things in this game with storytelling and just environment and the way it kind of plays with you. Like, I don't know if you saw some like horror type areas, Bloodworth. Like, I've been all over this map. I'm getting lost. I don't know where the hell I'm going half the time. Like, but it's so fun.
This is your home central base.
Yes,
the Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons,
of all things.
I love this hub. This hub is so cool.
It's nice because as you meet characters, they show up here.
Yeah.
And then you can talk to them and you have these little. There's this kid that stays there.
Yep.
And as you find objects out in the world, like you're like, oh, this could be a good gift for him.
Yes.
And then that leads to some other interactions.
Yeah.
And so it's a really nice. Like, it's funny because they're like mostly animal people, but it's a nice sense of humanity to like break away from like, okay, this isn't all about killing and gore and all of that. Like, there are some really nice characters here.
The main themes, I would say, are religion and AI and regret. Would probably like the main pillars of the mood of this game. It's pretty melancholic. It's pretty bleak. And the freaking combat, I mean, we haven't really talked about that. You were saying Sekiro. It's all about dodging, parrying. The parrying is...
It's all about parrying.
Parrying's pretty tough in this game. I'm no slouch with parrying. I'm no professional, but it is pretty tough, pretty hard to cheese it as well. Your timing has got to be pretty freaking spot on with these parries. Thankfully, you can dodge through a lot of attacks. There's also like a Rogue Legacy spin kick where you can jump up and like, kick down on someone to do some damage.
Yeah, and you unlock two versions of that.
Yeah, there's skill trees, there's weapon upgrades. I got an air dash, of course.
Nice. I don't think I got the air dash yet.
Yeah, I need that.
We got
air
the two
dash.
spin kicks, but not the air dash quite yet.
Yeah.
Do you have
there's secrets?
Their version of badges are these plugs.
Oh, those too. Yeah.
So you like you have like certain amounts of like slots that you can plug these little fuses into.
Yeah.
And so figuring out which of those things are going to be most useful to you at a given time. I think I've got the one I've got right now that I tried to move away from for a second, but then I realized the other one wasn't doing me as much good.
Yeah.
Is that so? So I have to explain the system first.
Yeah.
So when you parry or do some other things, you get these little key charges.
Yeah.
And with those key charges, you can basically like put like a ninja tag on an enemy.
Straight up Naruto paper bomb, let's go.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That will pop and blow up on them.
Yes.
And so that's sort of like part of like how your parry system works. So you parry, and then you dash through a guy, plant a tag on him, and then it pops and you do some damage. And the plug that I have that I'm still using, one of your first plugs, it will stop them in their tracks while you're holding the button with the tag.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little bit of breathing
Yeah.
room, because one of the hardest things is when you have multiple enemies to manage.
Yeah. I min-max that shit. Shout out. Mine are more money, more XP. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Money, more XP. That's what I'm looking for.
At least early game, you do need a lot of cash. There's a lot of
The
stuff available.
economy is a 10. Holy cow. Okay, though, again, this game is pretty difficult. I had like 900 gold, died.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go back
to
to
kill
your
the
body
guy, yeah.
to get it. I died again. I lost 900 gold, dude.
Yep.
That gold took me like a while to get, dude. It was insane. I was pretty bummed. I was like, oh. But I love it. I love the stakes because the money is so valuable in this, because you can buy like extra slots to have more of those badges, like you were saying.
Yeah, and you get more. Lots of those are in the shop too.
Yeah, you can buy
your
items
health.
from people to give to people that'll increase. There's just so many ways to spend your money, and everything is really expensive. So there is just an extra sense of danger that I welcome, that I love. And it's like, yeah, of course, like that is a bummer when you lose your money, you lost your time kind of, but it's also really rewarding on the flip side when you like make it back to your base with a bunch of money and then you spend it and you get way stronger. Like, I love those stakes, and I don't think they're too punishing because you can still get back to your body. And there's even a move where it's like, there's one where it's like you don't even need to kill the enemy to get your souls back.
Right.
You can just like throw a paper bomb on
You
him.
just tag them, yeah, you can get them.
So like there's ways to kind of make it a little easier to get your money back.
And then sometimes
the stakes are there. The stakes are there for sure.
It will just be a flower that
Sometimes it'll just be there.
you can just grab it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it's a skill or just an unlock. But sometimes when you grab your flower, it can heal you too.
Yeah.
So that's a little tricky, like play with your mind, because it's like, okay, do I want to just grab it as soon as I go back and I'm fighting this guy again, or do I want to wait till he's hit me and I'm like half health and use it as a heal? Which obviously becomes a lot easier if you've lost it once and you just lost all your money anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's a lot of, like I said, word salad and lore and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I
think I wouldn't necessarily call it word salad. It's just because it's from a Taiwanese developer. There's just a lot of language that we're not familiar with, like names and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah.
Sure, but it's also going into like the entire like 1,000-year history of like these civilizations and these other planets and all these like, there's a lot there. So, and it's intentionally vague, at least for a while, the story unfolds a little slower, but the individual moments, I think, are actually really strong in this game. You have these flashbacks to your time before the game with like your sister. You're one of you're a higher up, in this world, like with all these other people, and it's like you meet some of your old acquaintances and stuff. There's just a lot of like really cool interactions that I wasn't expecting, and a lot of different variety. Like his relationship with the kid is different than his relationship with like his old friend or the AI machine. Like there's some really cool conversations that go into like some emotional nuance. That I think is the strongest part of the story.
Yeah. And then I think the fast travel system, at least where it is at this point in the game, is interesting because it's like
it's tough.
You can go back to your base anytime you get to basically what's a bonfire, but you travel through this route system, which has its own lore.
Yeah.
A big part of it.
Yeah.
But you can only travel back to that one that you came from.
Exactly.
So you can't just go to any spot on the map.
Which I'm sure is like way later.
Maybe
unlock that
you
for you.
can get that later.
Yeah. Really intense bosses.
Yeah.
Some mini bosses around the map as well.
Yeah, I told Huber about this one and I tweeted about it too. But so like the first boss that you fight is like this big centaur guy. And that's really where you have to learn to parry.
Yeah.
Like and that's where like I was like on my better attempts, like it was because I was 100% focused on parrying and not like worrying about trying to get some greedy little hits in between, It's like, okay, let me watch what he's doing and get that rhythm down.
Dude, the parry sound is so satisfying too.
Yeah.
Ping! It's so cool.
Nice.
It's
Heck
so
yeah.
cool, dude.
What's interesting though is that if you miss,
you still block. You just take chip.
if you're holding it and you're blocking,
Yeah.
your bar will like go down but red.
Yeah.
So if there's a red section on your bar, it's gonna slowly refill.
Yep.
But if you get hit again, that'll get knocked out. So you got to really, like, when
Get
you
in
parry, like, keep a hold on that button,
Yeah.
just in case. If you miss the timing, then you
Yeah.
can at least, step aside and get a little health back.
Also, a secondary weapon, the bow.
Yeah.
The bow and arrow is freaking awesome in this game. It's nuts. Really, really strong. You only get a few charges, and then you gotta like kill enemies or rest a bonfire.
Yeah, I
get
was
'em.
worried about that at first. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not going to use this too much because, I only have like 2 shots. But then I saw how many times that like blue drops were happening. It's like, okay, it's not too bad. Also, they reward stealth kills. So hitting guys from behind.
Get them from behind. I
do more
love that.
damage.
Dude, I love that so much.
Your third strike does extra damage if you get a full combo in.
I'm like trying to train on this guy right here. I'm trying to master the parry. I remember this because it's tough. I'm like, damn, I cannot get this.
Yeah, because you got to be pixel perfect. And it's like a lot of like wide sweeping motions.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with that first boss. It's just like, there's this huge sweep. Like, when am I supposed to hit this stupid parry? And sometimes I would like have every hit just down, and I wouldn't get hit at all. And then other times, like, bop, 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 I'm just dead. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh my god, this game can be so punishing. Like, sometimes if you fall into like a hazard, it'll just like kind of teleport you back. Like, ching, it'll make these weird noises. There was one time when like I fell into a hazard, came back, like hit another hazard, came back, an enemy knocked me off into a hazard. It was just like, I was just getting like ping-ponged around the map.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness.
And, there are a lot of just normal dudes wandering around that can just
Destroy
take you out
Yeah.
before you understand, like the little ninja guys.
Yeah.
And,
But
like, yeah.
I've been really feeling the power level increase, Blood.
Yeah.
I think because you were saying, you were talking to people online or whatever that like, oh, the beginning and the end are tough, but like the middle is not too bad. And it's like I'm really feeling myself not only getting better at the game, but stronger with more health, more skill points, more utility. And there's been a couple harder enemy types that have come along with that. But there's still a lot of just the regular enemy types that I'm now just like taking out easy. Enemies that used to give me a little bit of caution, I'm just like speed running through. So the upgrades are just extremely meaningful, and the learning curve, it took a little bit to get used to, but now I'm just, dialed in.
Yeah, because like you were saying, you get the spin kicks, and those are a counter to different types of attacks. So you have to watch. Like if somebody's doing like what's used to be completely unblockable attack.
Yeah.
Now, if you watch for a green glow,
that's so satisfying too.
You can do a spin kick on the guy and stun him for a second, which is great. And then the other thing that I got more recently was the charge attack.
Yeah, dude,
and
break those shields.
That can be really good.
Game
Breaking
changer.
shields and that kind of thing, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, when I was fighting one of those tough mini boss guys, is like, I was doing a lot more charge attacks because it has a long range. But dude, the run back on that guy, that little part where you're like hanging from a chain and you got to hop to a post, and like I would miss it
crazy.
like 45% of the time. I would miss that little hop and fall into this stupid toxic waste.
I thought of you, dude. I thought of you. I was like, this is a Bloodworth moment. This is a moment where I keep thinking I can beat this guy. I fight him like 10 times in a row, and I refuse to move on. I'm going full Bloodworth. I'm not moving until I kill this guy.
Yeah.
Eventually, I got him, but I was like, dude.
That guy.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Because...
This guy, too. I think I run away from this guy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this one.
I actually need to go back to this guy. I forgot where this guy was. Yeah, this guy's a freak.
Did I fight this guy? I think I did.
There's
but I can't remember.
Spin kick hype, dude. Dude, I'm like doing no damage. This guy's a freak show, dude. Pipe
Maybe
up.
not.
This game rules. Highly recommend. This is a top tier Metroidvania in a year
There's
of
so many good
top
ones.
tier Metroidvanias. I can't recommend this game enough.
Yeah.
This is absolutely up there with Prince of Persia for me for best Metroidvania. I'm not done yet. I need to finish it, see how it all goes, because Prince of Persia had a sick endgame. So yeah.
Yeah, I need to play Prince of Persia as well.
And
I
need to
did
finish
play
Bow.
Bow,
I know.
the other large-eared Metroidvania.
And Ultros.
Yeah, well, I would
Ammo
definitely
kinda counts.
put this above Ultros.
Yeah. It's been a good year for the genre.
I would at the moment I would still
You love
put
Bow.
Bow above this.
You love it.
But obviously I have to play more of this, right?
Yeah.
But I think that one of the biggest things with Bow was that it really it has it's like it's prioritizing different things. It's like it's prioritizing movement and staying in the air. Whereas
Yeah.
this is prioritizing parrying.
Totally. Great call.
But there are some really cool boss fights towards the end of Bow that like actually have you like put all of your skills, all your traversal skills into use.
Sick.
To do that. So
Yeah. I will have
see.
a semi-minor boss spoiler. Damiani. Talking about Naruto, dude. Paper bombs and shit.
Okay.
Reanimation jutsu, dude.
All right, here we go.
Straight up, like, dude, the coffins rise and like open up, and they have like the freaking like talismans on their face.
Oh,
like,
man.
dude.
Oh, these fishmen are interesting.
What a nice.
Yeah,
This
it was
is
epic.
this is
It
some
was epic.
BioShock stuff, dude.
Yeah.
These fishmen.
Yeah. Have you forcibly removed any? That seems so intense. Okay,
Right.
so the map system in this game is really, really cool. Anytime you get to a larger zone, you'll see the outline of the whole zone. But then you punch in and it's like the minor, they're like the actual details of it, you need to fill in yourself. Also, there are these Mysterio type fish type creature character robot creatures that will sell you a map chip, and the map chip is really really important because it tells you what is left in each zone, so you're not just wandering around forever like, did I get everything? It'll be like, yo, there's a mini boss left, there's 2 collectibles left, and there's 2 like documents left, and it's like, okay, that stuff's really important. But there's an option where you can like just murder them.
Yeah.
Because you come up
Murder
to
them and take their chip.
yeah, the first one is like, well, if I give you the chip, like I'll die. And then if you pay them, they're like, oh, well, I could make a copy or whatever. But you can just like take it from them forcibly. So I wonder how that plays into the story at all. Because the main character is kind of intense. I will say that. Like, there are times when he does some morally gray stuff where, like, I don't want to go too in it, but basically I beat a boss, and what he did after was like really intense, and I was like, whoa. And then where he even got called on it by one of his friends was like, yeah, about that. Like, what were you thinking there? So like there's some pretty crazy storytelling going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I wonder if like forcibly removing them, you can like go Renegade or something. Paragon Renegade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if it has any kind of realistic effect or if you just don't get to talk to those guys. But
Yeah. Anyway, hell of a game. Add it to the frail.
Oh, that
dude.
shopkeeper is
The
so cool too.
shopkeeper, dude. I really love this game. It's really, really hard to put down once it gets its hooks in you. So, yep, be on the lookout for goaties. I'll be talking about it.
Nice. One I was not expecting to bring today is Donkey Kong Land. So basically, yeah. Hold it a second before we start playing it, Don. I'll give you a cue. But I was not feeling well last weekend, and so like I wasn't in a headspace to like really dig back into Dragon Age or play like Detective and Golden Idol. It's a lot of thinking going on there. So like,
sure.
what can I? All right. Oh, Donkey Kong Land just came out. I've never played Donkey Kong Land before, right? And it's such a like fascinating, like almost like Majora's Mask kind of situation, where it's like some of this feels familiar, but it's also very different. And doing unexpected things. But first, before we like get into the gameplay and stuff, go ahead and start playing Dawn, because this is really fascinating. So I never had a Game Boy Color, and like I knew that the Game Boy Color added color to games, but I didn't know that it did it this way. And so here's Dawn set up the B-roll so great.
This is badass.
So the far left is like original Game Boy palette. Second is like the softer like Game Boy Pocket grayscale. And then the one on the right is the Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
nice.
Dude,
for
color
viewers.
looks sick.
So, but here's the thing. So if you look at like the original thing, you can see like the contrast is really rough, right? There's a lot of spots where if something's not moving, like you can't even really see it. You know, like enemies don't stand out very well, like barrels and things and objects. Like it's hard to make out, and then you imagine like looking at this on like a tiny little Game Boy screen with like the ghosting and everything going on, right? And I had seen somebody had posted a clip of this Game Boy Color stuff before, and I was like curious about how that worked. And then like I kind of looked up like how the Super Game Boy, because this was a Super Game Boy enhanced game originally when it came out on Game Boy.
Yeah.
And so the way the Super Game Boy works is it takes the 4 shades of the Game Boy and it just reassigns 4 colors. Pretty simple stuff. But with a game like this what they did is like they programmed it so that different scenes had different color palettes. So if you moved into the caves, you get this set of 4 colors. If you move into the jungle, you get this set of 4 colors.
Nice, get some variety, yeah.
But with the Game Boy Color does this crazy, way more advanced thing. So it actually distinguishes between different parts of the code so that the background layer is one set of 4 colors. Object 1 is a second set of 4 colors. Whoa. And then object 2 is a third set of 4 colors. And I looked through my footage, and like the only thing I saw that used the second object are like these rocks on the map. But having this like light blue green for
Why
the
does
background.
it look like we're in New York City?
Yes, this is a cool thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like this is not in any Donkey Kong Country game, right?
What the hell?
Freaking
is it New Donk City Origins?
It's not named.
Dude, New Donk City Origins. That's my headcanon.
This is a city-themed level.
Yeah.
Name.
But anyways, so the fact that they can distinguish between the background and the player characters and the objects and things, it just like makes the game just way, way, way more playable.
So sick. That's awesome. Blood.
So it's a cool thing that I just didn't know because I never played Donkey Kong Land. I never had a Game Boy Color. So I didn't realize.
Just
like,
didn't.
It does this.
Was it financially, or you just didn't see the need for a color? Was it like a personal thing, or just like, I don't really need it?
Yeah, I mean, what this kind of goes to the conversation we've been having with you recently is that like I had a Game Boy because I wanted to play Zelda.
Yeah.
Right. And I did not have a Game Boy because I wanted to play handheld games.
Yeah, you just wanted to play.
I just wanted to play games that were on Game Boy. So
as
soon as the Super Game Boy was available, like I had that thing, and that was what I played most of my Game Boy games on. It didn't hurt that I didn't need to use the battery pack and the freaking magnifying glass and the light and everything. Oh yeah, this pursuer dude. This is what I'm talking about. Majora's Mask.
Stars.
Like you're in something that looks like a swimming level from Donkey Kong Country, and then you got this Nautilus enemy out of nowhere, and then these freak fish too. But these Nautilus, it's like chasing you like Nemesis, and it's just like leave me alone, dude.
So awesome.
But yeah, so but back to the point about playing Game Boy games. It's like I just wanted to play the games and play them on a TV, and it's like so I didn't really worry about getting a Game Boy Color because well I got a Super Game Boy, that's good enough for now.
Totally.
And there may have already been some inkling of Game Boy Advance or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
Because it was like Game Boy Color was definitely like sort of like this weird.
The Game Boy
step.
Pro.
It was like a colorized version of something that already was there, right? It wasn't that much more advanced.
Yeah.
Whereas when you saw the Game Boy Advance, you're like, oh, freaking, this looks like a Super Nintendo. Like, look at F-Zero. Like, look at Golden Sun looking like a freaking Final Fantasy PlayStation game.
Shout
you know?
out. Raise your glass, everyone, to Game Boy Advance. Wow. raise a toast.
But even there, it was like Game Boy Player came on GameCube, getting that thing, playing the Game Boy Advance games on the TV.
Four Swords hype.
Doing all the I even did the connectivity.
Yep.
Right?
Yep,
like,
yep. Sick.
I had a person, like a friend that had a picture-in-picture TV. And so we could have like Wind Waker on one picture
that is
and the
unhinged.
Tingle Tuner on the other picture with 2 GameCubes.
That is psychotic blood. I love it.
But I think that's why we've been bugging you, Huber, because of like your kind of disdain for the Switch and like, you know, not wanting to play so much because of the power difference. But it's like the power difference between a Game Boy and like a Super Nintendo and an N64 were extreme.
Yeah.
But there were still games there that I wanted to play.
Totally.
Right. And so I think that's the thing is like we feel like you're kind of like holding yourself back from playing something like Xenoblade or like Pikmin 4. It's like, no, there's incredible games that like the power difference doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, like you should get in on this stuff.
Xenoblade for sure. Gotta play Metaphor first, though.
But I'm trying to think about what else was going on there. But there's a lot of different systems in Donkey Kong Land.
Yeah, how does it hold up compared to like Country or something?
It holds up pretty well. It is still amazing that like they actually managed to do the pre-rendered graphics and shrink it down to a Game Boy palette.
Shout out to you capturing this and Don editing this. This is very cool, by the way. I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah, Don did it because I didn't try to sync anything
this is
up.
Awesome.
I just got the same levels like a couple of times.
I hope chat is loving this. I assume they are.
One very like understandable technical difference is that like Diddy doesn't follow you. You just push select and they'll just teleport in and out. But there are hearts for 1-ups instead of, whatever, that's the thing that was actually kind of frequent on the Game Boys, using hearts to indicate 1-ups. Mm-hmm. Super Mario Land and stuff did it as well. But they're like these weird coins that you pick up. And for the longest time, it was like, I have no idea why I'm picking up these coins. What are the coins for? And Hubert, it is like the most devastating thing.
Oh no.
So only at like 2 or 3 points in the game, there is this mini game. And there's this button and a barrel like swinging back and forth over your head.
This sounds so fun.
And every time you hit that button, it shoots out one of your coins. And if you grab the coin in that mini game the second time, you get a 1-up.
Nice.
But the thing is swinging so wildly, it's impossible. And so you just watch like all the coins that you picked up the whole game just evaporate. Like you might get like 3 out of 20.
Oh my God. Yeah, seriously.
And then the other weird thing is that when you pick up the Kong letters, that actually allows you to save after beating the level. So you have to get all 4 Kong letters to save.
Whoa. That is really intense, actually. That's hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little easier to get than they are in Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, level's probably just a little bit smaller. Maybe.
They're a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But so that cloud level with the conveyor belt, I hate every cloud level, dude. Every one of those cloud levels sucks. I loved a lot of the other stuff. I really loved the city levels, which is why I had Don why I grabbed some of this for Don. But the cloud levels, man, because there's like a lot of stuff where it's just hard to know what's coming before you get there. And so like that one clip where I died at the bee or whatever, it's like, oh, there's a barrel there for a bonus stage.
Yeah.
But I would get right over top of the barrel. Like it would be just like an inch away from me, right? Especially when you're talking about a Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I would drop down and I would just die.
Oh my
because
God.
the barrel's off screen now. And I'm like, what the heck?
Okay, game.
And so then I have to like restart the level, ride the lift again, and then I've got to like roll and jump to the barrel, but then the dumb bee is in the way. So half the times if you don't time to jump exactly right, then you're going to die again.
It's very funny.
And so it's just, but that's the thing is like each one of those cloud levels has one of those kind of like things where you just have to sit on a lift for a long time and not hit anything.
Yeah.
If you get knocked off, it's just, all right, start over, go back to the checkpoint or whatever. And then there are also like the first time that like you come across those cloud platforms, they just blend into the background. No matter what color palette you're on, it's like, okay, that's where I'm supposed to go.
Got it. Yeah, that's tough.
But then, there's, like I said, there's the crazy pursuer guy in this, but then there's also these like underwater temple levels where like the temple's been flooded, and some other types of levels, and just like the levels themselves are different, and there's different enemy types. So it's just really cool. Like it's a new game. It's not just Donkey Kong Country again. So it's pretty cool. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any other little notes here. But yeah, I was actually like really
I always
surprised.
prefer that Blood. That's my handheld take.
Yeah.
I always prefer games specifically made for the hardware rather than a watered down version of like console version or something. Give me a completely separate thing. Give me Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Right.
Not just a worse version of Uncharted 1 through 1, 2, or 3 or 4 or whatever,
One thing that tripped me up too, again, talking about kind of like Majora's Mask vibes, one of the levels that you get to really early is like rope climbing on this wrecked ship, pirate ship. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, that's a Donkey Kong Country 2 thing.
Yeah.
And I looked up the dates, and like this came out like right in between them, right? So it was like basically like Donkey Kong Country, 6-7 months pass, then Donkey Kong Land, then another 6-7 months pass, and then Donkey Kong Country 2. And so I'm like, okay, did they add the pirate ship levels to this game first?
Yeah.
Or were they making them for Donkey Kong Country 2?
What's the order of operations there?
Them into this? So I'm very curious.
It's funny.
The music holds up. Game Boy.
Is it David Wise?
Yeah. David Wise, and then I think Graham Norgate.
Wow.
As well. But it's interesting because even like some of the familiar themes, because they're working with a different chipset, like they kind of played around to do different things.
Cool.
And then some of the songs are like you'll recognize, but then it'll like will go off to like some other like different third melody or something like that. There were like again, and like some of the weird enemy things. There's like some of the temple levels have like these like tornadoes that look like they're made out of rubber.
Is this the first time Diddy was featured predominantly on the cover like that? Like front and center, like he's the star of the game?
Well, you're looking at Donkey Kong Land 2, which we're not on yet.
Oh, spoilers.
I was showing you the first one.
Sorry.
We'll get there in a second.
Okay.
And then, some levels have multiple checkpoints too, which I feel like Donkey
Are they
Kong...
longer ones?
Yeah. But I'm saying like I don't feel like Donkey Kong Country really did that. It was like usually there would just be one checkpoint barrel, and this sometimes you would get like 2 or 3 checkpoints.
I know that obviously like Tropical Freeze and stuff has the mid-mission checkpoints sometimes.
Oh, if you get hit, I don't know the little difference. If you get hit while you're riding an animal buddy like Rambi or Espresso or something, you'll just like get knocked off and you can jump right back on. You don't have to chase them.
Excellent.
But there is a lot more, like I was talking about with like the barrel thing. There's a lot of places where like it would be unpredictable whether falling would kill you or not. So like sometimes...
Do I go down there for a secret or to my death?
But I mean, even like if you're climbing up a level, like zigzagging up a mountainside or whatever, like sometimes falling, I would just fall down to the next platform beneath me. And other times I'm like, oh, I'm just dead instantly.
Yeah.
And it's like very jarring. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was a little bit of a criticism for sure.
Yeah.
The inconsistent bottomless pits. But yeah, so now Donkey Kong Land 2. So Donkey Kong Land came out like last Thursday on Switch.
Wild.
Then Donkey Kong Land 2 comes out on Monday.
Wild.
And so I didn't play through the whole thing because I was putting the podcast together. But I played through like the first zone last night, Huber. And like immediately I'm seeing improvements in that, okay, we've got a better contrast level.
Yeah.
Like they've seen the problems that
better screen space reflections.
They've seen the problems that it was hard to read, characters and backgrounds on the first game. So they really made sure to like enhance that contrast.
Yeah.
However, very disappointed.
Oh no.
For the exact reason you were saying.
Oh no.
Donkey Kong Land 2 is basically just a black and white Donkey Kong Country 2. It is like not 100% the same, but basically the same levels.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, like I've done this and I've done that, and the music is the same, and the enemies are the same, and they got rid of the Kong saving system. And the funny thing about that, Huber, because you were talking about, that's brutal that you have to get the letters to save.
Yeah.
But actually, that I think was the better system, because in the first Donkey Kong Land, you get all the letters, you save after a level. In this game, you have to get through several levels to find the Kong College and talk to Wrinkly, and she will save your game for a fee.
Jeez.
And in a portable game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I gotta walk into the bank or something. Like, I can put this down for a minute. Let me save my game.
Because especially, so like, you can go back to her after a level and save again. But like, say if you beat the boss of the first area, and then you get to the second area with like 1 life left, then you've got to like make it through a couple of levels to save again, or
sober it'll start
beat that
over.
boss again.
Yeah. Old games like that, you could just save yourself into a corner. So tough. Cool.
Well, it's not really saving yourself into a corner, but it's just like you don't get a chance to save and like until like you've gone through a couple of levels.
No, what I'm saying, if you got through a bunch of levels and you only have like one life left before the final boss.
Oh, I don't think I don't know for sure on Donkey Kong Land 2.
If you have lives, just on the continues.
The nice thing about the save points, at least in the first game, is when you go back to a save point, you start with all the 5 lives.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't have, it doesn't save the number of lives.
Chill.
So it's just like,
That's
it's just
friendlier.
your progress through how many levels have you gotten.
Got it.
So
awesome.
I don't know 100% sure if that's true for Donkey Kong Land 2 as well, because I didn't get far enough to where I lost all my lives.
Yeah.
So.
Sick.
But anyways.
Dude. Donkey Kong games on Switch Online. Donkey Kong Land coming to Universal, man. Kong is reigning right now.
Yeah, it was fun to discover, since and it's funny too, because like Donkey Kong Country is such a big part of my story, right? It's like Donkey Kong Country. Like I was obsessed with that pre-launch and the pre-rendered.
Your
stuff.
like high school review, right? Or the paper?
That was the first review that I ever had published.
Yep, it's my favorite.
So I reviewed that game. I reviewed Donkey Kong Country too, but I've never played the Game Boy games.
Sick.
So. Good stuff.
It's awesome. Dawn.
Yes.
This made me think of beautiful handheld memories. And you know what my mind always goes to?
What is it?
The 3D in Super Mario 3D Land.
Oh, there you go. One
of the single greatest handheld games of all time. Damiani, do you agree?
It's pretty good. It's up there.
I would absolutely agree. No, it's an absolute masterpiece. I
need to play it again.
One of the biggest travesty in the history of gaming, Huber, was the sequel, 3D World. It was obviously designed for a 3D. It made no sense. It still makes no sense to this day. Pick it up. Try to play it. It's impossible. It doesn't function.
Don, do you think there's a secret debug option to enable stereoscopic 3D in that game?
There's got to be 100%. I mean, look at the game. It's absolutely just structurally, it was meant for 3D.
So Huber, I don't think a lot of people know about this, but initially with the GameCube, there were other companies that made these, but at one point Nintendo had in development a little portable screen that you could put on it. And I remember seeing
it on what?
On the GameCube. That you could just pop a screen on it. So like at E3 2000,
like one of the like flip thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
At E3 2002, they had Metroid Prime running on that screen, but then it was just a product Nintendo was messing around with. They never released it. So I was wondering, it's like, well, what if Nintendo eventually released a glasses-less 3D screen for the Wii U.
That would be sick.
Or maybe they were, maybe Don's right and they were hedging their bets for 3D TVs to take off, and it's like, oh, they didn't. So we won't tell anybody about that. We won't tell anybody about that. It'll be in the code, but we won't tell anybody.
So sick.
We've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying the show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube. Head over to Spotify, watch us there, and leave some comments. We got video versions on Spotify now. And leave reviews on your podcast service of choice. Mm-hmm. It helps us, and it helps you stay connected. And now, a word from our sponsors.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Mattel or Heinz or Alo Yoga or Allbirds, you think about like the great product, their cool brand, their marketing, all that stuff. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business making all that selling, and for you, the shopper, the buying. Simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet, and the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So, if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in the store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Magic Spoon and Cotopaxi use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/allies, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/allies to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/allies. Check it out.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. All right, it is time for the top turkeys of 2024. These are essentially the bigger whiffs of the year. Face-palming decisions, things that we hope are regretted by somebody in some form. I try to keep these as light as I can, but they invariably go to some just frustrating moments as well. So we'll get a little bit of both. I also had asked our patrons to submit their turkeys.
Great.
So we'll start off with some of the patrons' more personal things.
Great.
Then we'll get into like a little mid-range, some lighter bits from the year, and then we'll get into the big turkeys. First, from Alexander Zirianov.
Yo.
My personal turkey goes to all gamers who rally against PC games that aren't released on Steam. Buying a game and creating a desktop icon is a one-time action, and after that, you don't have to interact with the service the game is sold on. There's nothing wrong with publishers not wanting to give 30% of revenue to Valve, especially considering the development costs of modern games.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a point there for sure.
Bring physical PC games back in stores.
Hell yeah.
Some are there.
I get why people hesitate because you have your humans like comfort. They like routine or they don't like change that often. So it's like you have your little ecosystem on Steam. You just kind of want to build it and nurture it, and that's kind of where you live on your PC. But he's absolutely correct. Where it's just like once the game is booted up, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can't get some DMs from your Steam people. You could even leave Steam open, so you could still get DMs. Like,
right.
It really has no impact. You're not going to get your Steam achievements for those stupid cards. Does anybody even collect those? These things are so dumb.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I agree with. Has been a bit of a mystery for me for a long time because it's like if I have a game on Epic, I play it on Epic. Or I have it on Steam, I have it on Steam. If I'm on Switch, I play it on Switch. Like it does. Like I am not that invested in any given ecosystem to the point where like a lot of times there's just like will be features that a certain platform has that I'm just not aware of because I'm not looking there, for that or whatever.
Yeah.
And like especially now with like Discord integrating with all of the consoles and stuff. It's like, cool, we will just talk on Discord, and I will not worry about PlayStation chat or whatever.
Yeah.
But
there's some nuance with like like Nine Souls, right? I was like PC or console. That's a little different because it's like where you play. But if it's like, if Indiana Jones, right? If Indiana Jones is coming out on Xbox first and it's like 6 months or a year away on PlayStation, it's like, doesn't matter. Like, I'll just play now on Xbox. Like, who cares? Yeah.
From Garrett Podolsky, Microsoft's progressively more confusing strategy and marketing with Game Pass, along with the introduction of the standard tier, replacing console only for new subscribers. Now, said standard tier no longer getting day one releases. You just get it sometime. You don't know when. Yeah. When they tell you got it, you got it. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe we'll never put it on Game Pass standard. Just get Ultimate. You won't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the way of subscriptions these days is intense. It's a lot of subscriptions, a lot of usernames, a lot of passwords.
Yep.
It's too much, dude. It's overwhelming.
From Dominic GG.
Yo.
A nod to Ubisoft, who released this crappy NFT game nobody wanted, and then immediately was broken and exploited.
Of course.
What is going on, Ubisoft?
We're not done with Ubisoft, I'll tell you.
Dude.
We got more coming from them.
Hey, they came out with a Syndicate patch. Top 3 Assassin's Creed games ever made. 60 frames.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I'm tempted. I got too many games to play, but I'm tempted.
From Andy Schreiner, Helldivers 2 came into the scene hot, and then it caused a massive uproar when Sony decided to force PC players months later to link their game to a PlayStation Network account. And then if you're not in the right region, sorry.
Mm-hmm. One of the most successful games of the year, without a doubt, still killing it, but like definitely took a hit. Public hit and just like the sentiment, the universal praise and love for this like somewhat underdog feel good game, and then it's like these weird backdoor business things that like kind of taint the
and wasn't
the
there
optics
some
a
weird
bit.
thing too where it's like the developers were a little bit in the crosshairs. Maybe I'm mixing them with something else, but it just felt like either way it's like. Yeah, the guys that are making Helldivers 2 don't really have much of a choice. Mm-hmm. Like, Sony's publishing it. Sony's making this requirement.
Yeah.
So, like, cool. You have to deal with all the blowback.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Harrison Holt. This is a deep cut. I love this. In 2020, the International Olympic Committee decided not to renew the Mario and Sonic Olympic Series licensing deal with Nintendo and Sega in favor of partnerships they could make more money with. Fair enough. What were these partnerships, you ask? The Paris Olympics this year featured a mobile game from a developer called Enway, which had mini games around various Olympic events, and through the game, players were able to redeem an officially licensed commemorative Paris 2024 NFT digital pin. Definitely worth no longer associating your brand with two pop culture icons.
Very funny. Very funny. Very good. Yeah.
Wow.
Totally worth it.
But we were wondering about that, right? Like, Don, wasn't that a thing that you were talking about?
Yeah, I was infuriated. And it was weird, too, because I had taken Sonic and Mario at the Olympics for granted my whole life. And then this was the first time that I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on board that train. And it didn't exist anymore. Damn it. I just couldn't believe it.
It's IOC.
Can it come back? Fault. Can it come back?
I don't see why it can't.
It could. They have to make the deal, but it could.
Make the deal.
Wow, yeah, make the deal, dude.
Make the deal.
Make the deal. Winter Olympics are
Los
next.
Angeles. Perfect. 2028 Los Angeles, baby.
Yeah, Winter Olympics are next year,
But
right?
the Winter Olympics are next in 26.
Or 26?
26, I believe.
Sick.
26, yeah, next year. Now my head is already too much in the calendar. I was like, it's 2025 now, right? No, it's not.
Yeah. Winter's fun because I watch ice skating with my mom.
Nice.
It's my favorite.
From Jeff Kendall. My biggest turkey of the year is definitely all the major game studios who fail to respect video game actors' wishes regarding AI. This led to the SAG-AFTRA strike against video game publishers, and rightfully so. Actors need to be assured that their work remains theirs, and it feels like video game performers are constantly taken advantage of as, quote, not real actors, and not given respect as such. Shame on the publishers. Major turkey move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Respect people.
Yeah. Crappy stance for them. Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yep.
Respect people.
All right. A couple of low-level, mid-level ones here. They're a little more general that I dug up. In April, the Embracer Group announced that they will be splitting into 3 companies. The Asmodee Group, which covers tabletop games, makes sense. But then, Coffee Stain and Friends for indie and AA titles, and Middle-earth Enterprises and Friends, which will have big AAA properties, including Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider. Also belovingly deemed MEEF on our podcast.
Dude, like, yeah, we want Tomb Raider and Lord of the Rings games. Obviously, shout out Two Towers, Return of the King, Xbox, PS2, 10 out of 10. But I don't trust Embracer at all. 0. In fact, I'm actively hostile towards them. So, yeah, I'm not really hopeful about these products. But again, like I always try to believe and say, you never know. You never know. But even aside from that, if they release a great Lord of the Rings game, they've done so much other damage that it's hard to like even root for them at all in any capacity. They've just done a lot of damage, a lot of firings and cancellations, and yeah, I would rather anyone else has the rights to Middle Earth. Anyone else.
Yeah. This one might raise some flare-ups. Just bear with me till I get through, and then you can react. The Dragon's Dogma 2 fast travel gaff. So,
oh my
Hideaki Itsuno went on and talked about how they designed the game and was talking about like, well, if you're fast traveling everywhere, then your game's just not very fun, right? And then it turned out that Capcom was selling fast travel points in the store. Functionally, doesn't actually make that much of a difference to your playthrough. You get plenty of those in the game without paying for them.
Literally has no impact.
But like buying a skill point in Deus Ex Mankind Divided, I think it was a big miss on PR's part, on the marketing side of things.
It's funny because it's a no-win scenario, but to me, it's like, how do I explain it? It's like there's no good way to spin it positively, so automatically it is a big negative thing. Like, oh, they're charging for that. They're charging for that. Like, there is no good thing about it, it just is. But my argument is like it is the most unnecessary thing that you would never need to engage with whatsoever. Like, anyone who's played through Dragon's Dogma 2 normally knows this. Anyone. So when you get all, it really exemplifies the annoyance of the internet and, grifters that have come out of the woodwork in this industry peddling bullshit for a game that they didn't even play. They just see this and start waving their fingers, riding their moral high horse. And it's like, this had no impact. Like, this is for people. This is for Capcom to make a little extra money on the side, like fucking so many businesses do, whatever. But also for like people that they call them time savers. Like these exist in so many other games. I think the difference is time savers in a lot of other games you need. Like some of those you actually need. I think of mobile games where you like energy is the currency and shit. This is like so far away from that that it was just spun so out of control. Yeah, I hate this story. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I want to move on.
Tell me any thoughts?
I mean, it's might not have had that big of an impact, but I mean, you can't get caught saying like something like that and then selling the thing you're kind of like preaching against in your store like that. Like,
sure. Yeah. If he hadn't said that to begin with, I guess.
Yeah. Someone should have caught that and been like, maybe we shouldn't release this. Or maybe they decided after, and then someone should have been like, oh, he said this. Maybe we shouldn't sell these and just figure out a way to sell something
I think
else.
the problem with that, Damiani, is the reason that those things exist is because they were included in the collector's edition. They had made them a separate thing there.
See that too.
Once that becomes something on a pre-order, you can't just get rid of it.
Exactly.
And so, like, this is the way to buy the things from the collector's edition. So it's like...
So then I'm going to really give them the benefit of the doubt and think it was not malicious whatsoever. They were just deciding what to throw into the collector's edition, whatever. And then it's like, okay, then sell these regularly if people couldn't get the pre-order in the collectors. Like, I don't think there was some big grand scheme here. Like, so many fucking grifters want you to freaking believe.
But that's the thing. I think that's the thing is, like, it gets in your head. It's like you just start thinking about, it's like...
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of it is to make you think that it's valuable, even though it's not.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
don't buy collections.
But then if, like, you try to tell people, like, no, it's not valuable. It's like, well, if it's not valuable, then why would they sell it? And it's like, but that's the whole point. It's to trick you into spending money on something you don't need.
Totally. And there's a little bit of precedence, too, with Capcom as well.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the Resident Evil unlocks. There, you can just buy all the unlocks immediately a couple months after the game.
The price of stuff in Street Fighter is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ninja Turtle costumes.
It's Capcom. Capcom has been
Just
doing
such
a small
weird
amount of
hill
this.
to die
Like,
on.
I mean, you could use that stuff to get the achievements easier in Resident Evil 4 Remake. You could buy the tickets to instant max upgrade on a weapon, and it did make getting the S stuff easier if you did that.
You
for
do
sure.
what you want to do in a single player game, I say. Feel free. Single player game, do whatever the hell you want. Put a Game Genie on. Bring Game Genie back, dude, for all I care.
Just hit up Hip Hop Gamer. He's got it.
Yeah, dude, what a call. Yes.
That's what he's all about.
Yes.
I see it every day. Anytime he's tweeting something, he's playing his cheats. I'm like, oh, God.
Hip Hop Gamer, dude, loves the cheats. I love that. Oh, that's so good.
This is a really funny one that I think people probably forgot. Both EA Sports WRC and Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line both stopped working on February 29th because neither game accounted for Leap Day in their calendars.
That's so funny.
So EA just basically told players to change their console settings to make it March 1st early.
Wow. That's wild. That's a good story. That's funny. That's wholesome.
All right, now I get into the more intense ones. So sorry. So I mean, some of these are not necessarily intense, but bigger scale.
Like, are we just gonna have one big one for all the layoffs? Not every single company.
I'm not going to every company. No, that's not. That's not what we're going to do. But we're going to get into some of that. But yeah. But first off, is kind of a similar vein. Kotaku's ownership at Geo Media. One in a long line of corporate media owners who have no idea how to run a publication, reportedly gave a mandate for staff to create 50 guides a week. So now we're getting articles like, hey, I found this neat sword in Shadow of the Erdtree. And, quote, this is an actual headline from this week. Don't let your weapons decay if you want to survive in Stalker 2.
No shit.
Right? But they have to fill these stupid quotas. So this is why we get these articles.
Don't get shot in Call of Duty if you want to live.
Aim for the head.
Right, okay.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
As somebody who's had to write strategy, I feel for these writers. I know.
Shout out to every guide writer out there. Straight up 10 out of 10 hardcore work. Yeah, that stuff's evergreen. That's why they push that for a reason. That stuff lasts forever, drives the clicks, gets the clicks forever. Someone's playing a 2-year-old game. They look up a guide. Boom. Like years later, that stuff pays. Like, it is one of the most important things.
Maybe, but we'll get there.
Should
be
educate
noted.
me, dude. Educate me, please.
Should be noted, first of all, that guide writing was not a thing of their part of their editorial direction, so
Kotaku.
they didn't really have the
Never really used the guide
staff
from Kotaku,
to
yeah.
do that stuff, right? It's like they're about digging in and reporting and, more thoughtful editorials and stuff like that, and then, yes, we still get like the dumb ones with the spoilers for no good reason whatsoever.
No reason. Shout out to NeoSeeker. That is a really good guide site. If you don't know that one, shout out. Big shout out.
But because of this and other things that were going on with the management, their editor-in-chief, Jen Glennon, resigned. And since then, other people have left or been laid off. So just like, yeah. Jeez. And tacking onto this, something that has been plaguing everybody, online publications, is Google search algorithm changes and AI are making it absolutely impossible to make any kind of money on the internet. So like you're saying, like, oh, these things like guides or whatever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily anymore.
Yeah, because now just go, the pool, gets they just suck it all up.
Sucked into the soup.
Drainage. Yep. There will be blood.
And so trend chasing like this is going to hurt places more than actually having an audience that cares about what you have to say.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to force guides onto a site that isn't known for guides, when
Kotaku
you could just go to your favorite NeoSeeker or GameFAQs or something. Yeah.
Or even, dare I say, like IGN, the wiki guides.
Yeah,
are
IGN's got a great guide.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, they should play to their strengths and do like investigative reporting and stuff.
Big one. One that we would have said anyways, but it was also submitted by Matt Kern and Andy Schreiner. Suicide Squad. Just Suicide Squad in general. But Andy Schreiner did remind us that in their financial reports afterwards, WB doubled down on chasing live service games. In March, WB stated
we saw this from a mile away. How many months were we talking about this before this game came out, dude? Like, this is a bad idea.
They delayed it for a year even.
Oh,
and still didn't fix anything. In March, WB stated that Suicide Squad's sales are disappointing and AAA gaming is volatile. So for the future for their games will lie more on live service, mobile, and free-to-play. Quote, rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, a Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in that world in an ongoing basis? Huber, do you want to work?
No.
In Hogwarts?
No, I do not.
Why is work the first thing in that quote?
Dude. Because that person is used to everyone just working for him to make money, dude. That's it. That's his entire, like, world vision. Work for me, make me money. Good Lord. It's one thing to, like, release a bad game. Like Suicide Squad. Oh, it's a bad game. It's another when, like, the corporate greed infects it so much that not only is it a bad game, but it tarnished the Arkham legacy.
Right.
Like, the lore of that game is ridiculous, and, like, it's canon. Like, sorry. Like, when you play Arkham games, you know that it is leading to Suicide Squad, and that is not okay. It's not right.
Yeah.
The game is hot garb.
Hubert, you want to know how bad it is? There was somebody had submitted something and it's like, yeah, they brought out Suicide Squad and then it had to shut down a couple months later. And I'm like, no, it didn't shut down. It's still been putting out seasonal content. They've been introducing new versions of Joker and Mr. Freeze and all these other characters, and you just have no idea because nobody is talking about that content.
Yeah, nobody. Wait, did Freeze come out?
Yes.
I remember when Joker came out, and it just came out to just silence, and that was it. That was it. It was like, right.
After Joker,
nothing.
Nobody cared anymore.
Yeah, zero.
Yeah.
Oh, it's devastating.
Wild.
Hey, we're on the up and up with Arkham Shadows and hopefully another new Arkham game. I think I heard some rumor or something they're coming back. I think Arkham Asylum remake would be a really good.
Well, they
they
had said they had another more recent report where they were talking about we got to double down on our big franchises, and they're like DC in particular, Batman was one of those.
Arkham remake, you can get that thing out in a couple years, like not a massive effort, and then kind of just makes everybody fall in love with the franchise again. Like we don't need another spin-off or sequel. Like let's recover with an Asylum remake. Let's go.
Fun one. The Borderlands movie.
Ugh.
Anyone see that?
No.
Don?
I didn't catch that one.
The Borderlands movie made just shy of $33 million at the box office out of a reported production budget of $120 to $130 million, plus $30 million spent on print and advertising.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Yikes.
That is a bomb.
Yeah. I should watch it. I really, really try hard to watch every video game adaptation. It's my two favorite things in the world, you know, movies and shows and video games. So when the two merge, I always try to be there. It's just I don't care about Borderlands already, you know? But I should give it a watch so I can, what do you call it, Gabby? Like, so I can be an informed hater. Yeah.
What was really funny is that like afterwards on the take two was like, well, you know what? We got a good sales bump. Anyways, we got some good Borderlands game sales out of it.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yep.
Shout out to Fallout.
Yeah.
Shout out. It was so good.
All right, Huber. Embracer's back.
Ugh.
And for the reasons that you will hate them more.
Don't hurt me.
They canceled a new Deus Ex game that was in the works at IDOS Montreal in favor of an all-new original IP. Cool, whatever that is.
What's the reason for that? Don't you think a big, successful, already like big franchise would be better than, like, do they have to pay someone? They own it.
They bought it.
Exactly.
They bought Deus Ex and then decided like, nah.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it makes no sense. It's a tragic tale because it is one of gaming's best, in my opinion. Hands down.
I can understand.
Hands down, one of the best video game like franchise as a whole, right? To Invisible War and Mankind Divided, you know, a little, but like no denying that Deus Ex 1 is single-handedly one of the greatest games ever made. Human Revolution brought in an entirely new generation of people on this franchise. Incredible.
Yeah, including me.
Yeah, and even with Mankind Divided's behind-the-scenes faults, like that is still an awesome game. It went through a lot of like production troubles. There's just so much more there.
Yeah.
Like the actor Adam Jensen, I saw him like tweet about this a couple months ago where he's like, I've done a lot of voice work, but hands down what I get asked about the most is Deus Ex. And it's like, I love that character. I want to do more stories with that character, like hopefully one day. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
he's such a good character.
It's wild
Adam
because
Jensen,
it's like,
dude, I miss him all the time.
The one thing that's like I can sort of put myself in their shoes a little bit and like, okay, they're bleeding tons of money. They've made all the wrong choices and like they got to evaluate like, okay, which of our franchises have the best shot or whatever. But then to take something that like you've already invested a lot of money in, maybe it's not the biggest franchise, but it's something.
Yeah, it's got
and
clout, dude.
And then to just no, we're gonna try this other thing that could be a complete dud.
Yeah.
No idea. Yeah.
Totally.
So
yeah, I wonder.
And we'll probably be 4 years before we see whatever that is.
Yeah, or in 2.5 years, they're like, we canceled
that.
that.
Or they'll make IDOS in Montreal a support studio for, you know, Crystal Dynamics or something, you know.
Yeah. They did that before with the Tomb Raider, right? The third one
they've helped out. You know,
yeah.
But,
Crazy. I hope Adam Jensen returns to my life one day.
This one I'm still like reeling that this happened. Annapurna's staff just all walked out.
Yeah.
They just left the company. they brought back a guy that they didn't like.
Shout out to that Bond, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone sticking together like that. Like, we're out. Whoa.
Yeah. It's like, oh, like he's gonna be in charge. Like, no way. See ya. Like
we're all gone.
yeah.
That is so intense.
So crazy. And like, there's only so much that like you can know from like unnamed sources and all of that. They just don't know that situation.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's like they built a stable of incredible, indie games that they published, and like people are having to pick up those pieces, and they're having to hire new people to replace all of them. And
crazy.
Meanwhile, what is the people that left? What are they going to do? And that's the big question that we haven't seen yet. It's like, are you guys spinning something up? Or are you going to
maybe
someplace
Keely
else?
will tell us next month?
Maybe. I mean, it's not really the kind of thing that would show up on a stage unless like they have a like studio and announcement and game to publish. But yeah, I don't know. All right. Ubisoft told you they'd be back. Disbanding the Prince of Persia team after The Lost Crown didn't hit sales expectations.
One of the best games of the year.
Yep.
Yes.
Just straight up one of the best games of 2024. Like, do I need to say anything else? This is stupid.
Yeah, I think the thing here
we go again, though, with, hey, spend 3-4 years of your life to work on something, and it's so great. You did your job perfectly, excellently. You made an incredible Prince of Persia game. Prince of Persia's back. You're all gone. Again, this narrative of people doing their jobs perfectly, releasing great games, and then getting laid off or fired.
Yeah. Well, these guys didn't get laid off or fired, but they were, back to the beyond good and evil minds, like,
Just like, or like
redistributed.
Yeah.
But and it's like, this is more of a marketing fail, right? And or maybe, like I will say, but this comes to somebody in charge though. I will say that one of this game's problems is you are bringing back a dormant franchise. You're bringing back the Prince of Persia after, like
2013,
close to 20 years.
When the hell was that?
Like no, I mean like the last like big Prince of
that
Persia
like
game was Prince of Persia 2008.
Yeah, 8.
And that was disappointing, right? So you got to think about
swimming.
But I mean, in terms of sales.
Yeah.
Like the trilogy was really when it was on fire.
Yeah,
those 3 games.
For sure.
And so you're bringing back this franchise, this dormant franchise. A lot of people don't even know. And so you're expecting to pull in the older fans. But then you got this guy on the box. And who is this guy? That doesn't look like Prince of Persia. Oh, it's actually not. It's not the Prince of Persia. There's this other guy named Sargon, and he's trying to rescue the Prince of Persia. I'm like, where is the Prince of Persia then? Well, you're not going to show him. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm supposed to get behind a Prince of Persia game that I have no idea where the Prince of Persia is or what he's doing. Right? Like, he's the hero of your series. It has multiple iterations and multiple timelines and all this stuff. But it's like, at some point, somebody should have been like, we should have the Prince of Persia be the hero of the game. Or like, it's not really that important to, like, put a twist on it, right?
Not necessarily that, but, like, tell us more about what makes Prince of Persia special, I guess.
Right. But it's like you're already, like, reinventing it and, like, we're going to go do a side-scrolling Metroidvania. Like, it's just, like, one more thing. And then they had all the stupid people, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, you should have maybe brought back the Prince of Persia by bringing back the Prince of Persia. Like, that would probably have helped.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think just people see $50, $60 games that aren't first party or, you know, sports or shooters or big open worlds and stuff, and they pause.
Yeah.
I never really thought
pause.
of it, but do you think it had any effect at all, being that their, remake or whatever was like going strong, then canceled right before, and then because we didn't really find out about the 2D one till right after that was canceled?
Yeah,
right?
I actually don't. I think that there's
Well,
definitely.
then there's the roguelite one.
I think there's a knock-on effect to that for sure, because I think that it could have been very much that they were looking for the Sands of Time remake to be the big comeback.
Yeah.
And then for this to be a smaller side thing, and for the Rogue to be a smaller side thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And they would have both been lifted up and carried. And so all of those decisions had already been made. It's like, well, now we can't change the story and the dialogue and the characters. And so it's like, well, we'll just have to roll with it. But
Sargon's epic as fuck.
that's
though.
why it doesn't make sense to disband the team. Like, set a new direction. Have them make a game with the Prince of Persia being the lead. Have them make a smaller scale game that doesn't cost as much. Have them do a different franchise. Maybe like do a side-scrolling Assassin's Creed instead. Like the last time
they
you
did
tried
3
to
of
do,
those.
yeah, they did real crappy games, right? Like if you made a good one, people might show up.
4 or 5 of them actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 3,
There was a
right?
DS one, right? With
Well,
Altair.
but that's a separate.
Yeah,
they had an
yeah.
actual set of them, the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Russian one and the Chinese one and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, the fact is that you have a team that made a great game, that talked about how good the production experience was,
It
and
shined
working
through.
together was.
Shine through, man. That game sings.
Figure out what to do to have them make the next thing and how to sell it, because they got their part right. So
They did their job.
yeah.
Any comments, Damiani? I know you love this game as much as I do, man.
Sorry, I came in the middle of this conversation. Were you arguing that there's something was negative about the game because it didn't star the Prince of Persia? Or
I think it's a huge obstacle, Damiani, to like try to bring back a dormant franchise called the Prince of Persia, and the Prince of Persia is not actually the guy on the box.
Bringing
Like that is a barrier.
I don't think it had any. I 100% disagree. I don't think it had anything
I think I
to do with that
disagree as
game.
well.
I don't think it had anything to do with it. I don't think most
Yeah.
people who even played it probably didn't even pay attention and thought still that was the Prince of Persia.
Because the Prince of
even though
Persia
it
is in
wasn't.
the Prince is in the game.
Yeah, but like I don't know if people are playing it for necessarily like that
agree.
part of the narrative. I think it was pricing of that game.
Yep.
It was definitely what held it back. And then it just. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's number one challenge was just the pricing. And I did catch the part about you saying it was probably part of a plan that involved the Sands of Time remake having already happened or already being like
Right.
on like doing in a much better development spot than it is now. And so this should have been a spin-off game that was there to support a larger release. And now they're falling back on this to be like, this needs to support the Prince of Persia. And I thought it was fantastic, and I think this is a great direction. I think they should, get to make more of these. But it seems that Ubisoft has it in mind, and Prince of Persia needs to be blockbuster sales or nothing at all. Doesn't matter if they're good sales, doesn't care. Like it needs to be like equivalent to their other franchises and what Prince of Persia did sell back in the day. And it just seems like they're not willing to compromise and make that series something different. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my take on it, and
Yeah. There's also the
It's
lack of
unfortunate.
Steam hurting all Ubisoft sales, and I'm sure, like, I don't know if they'll ever admit it, but I think them discounting games so regularly and so predictably, I think it hurts their momentum.
Yeah, you should honestly consider buying all of your Ubisoft games over the holidays forever. Like, there's honestly,
Right. Yeah.
They have
It's like wait 4 months.
they
That's
have
how you play a
35
Ubisoft
to
game. Yeah.
50% off of every one of their games every holiday. Like, yeah, totally. Man, that one hurts. That game is so good.
Submitted by David Warren, Axel Goldstrand, and Colt Smith. Xbox, Shuttering, Tango Gameworks, and Arcane Austin.
Bastards.
Thankfully, Tango is saved by Crafton, but
But
like they had to
frigging-
chase everybody down and rehire them, and like,
Look,
yeah,
Microsoft owns the Evil Within.
yep.
If you don't do anything with that, Microsoft, we're gonna have words. We're gonna have a problem. That's all I'm saying. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave us hanging. Yeah, crazy timing on this one too. Hey, Hi-Fi Rush, 10 out of 10. Goodbye.
Right. Well, the fact that they brought it to other platforms as well, right?
Yeah.
Renewed sales, yeah.
Hopefully this ends up being like a sick redemption story. You know what I mean? Like Hi-Fi Rush 2, what have you.
Yeah.
And then maybe Microsoft will wisen up and realize that they have one of the greatest chances to make a modern horror classic. Like, let's go. Like, Resident Evil and Silent Hill are so popular. They're so big. Like, there's no reason Evil Within should not be, like, not on those levels, obviously, but, like...
Mikami has a new studio, though, so he might do it with a different franchise.
But to be able to have, like, an exclusive... Like, if Resident Evil was fucking exclusive, or Silent Hill, like, you have the chance to have an exclusive survival horror, like, top-tier game. Like, please capitalize on that. I'm begging you.
Going along with that, this is where we come to what you were asking earlier, Heber. Also, alongside of them closing those studios, basically Microsoft doing thousands of layoffs while making tons of cash. And I'll extend that to like any company doing layoffs that are doing just fine. So like there are obviously lots of companies that have tried their best to avoid it and still had to do it. They couldn't get funding. Some of them have actually had to fully shut down, all of that. Obviously there's tough choices, but like there are a lot that just didn't, right? You've got EA and Microsoft and Take-Two just laying people off because that's the thing to do to make the numbers go up.
That fucking Bond villain needs to buy some more cars or whatever the hell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Take-Two has GTA and Civ and Borderlands on the way. It's like, we got to lay some people off before. It's like, what? Why? But yeah, and again, it's like, they're sometimes dealing with record profits even, right? That was like one of the things with Activision. It's like they were dealing with record profits. Like, oh, let's lay off some people. Like, why?
Yeah, why?
Why? How about laying off some leadership that are creating the problems that you're having?
Yep.
Yeah. So like loss of institutional knowledge, like we were talking about with the teams, loss of opportunities for mentorship, people that know what they're doing to bring up new people. Many cases loss of people, not just from your company, but from the industry altogether, because they just can't find a job in this market. And so it's like, well, I'll go and, program servers or something, like, or I'll go work on AI, even though I don't want to. I just got to find a job somewhere, right? And then the people that you have left are suffering, trying to pick up the pieces, and then they're not going to stick around if their jobs can just be blown away on a whim. And before someone pipes up that I'm being naive and I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm listening to people in this industry who are both affected by these kind of decisions and make these kind of decisions. I'm on job boards. I see the waves of people come in after this stuff happens. And I see people have been searching for jobs for over a year, and not finding anything and having to like do GoFundMes to like pay their rent and all of this stuff. And like, and I see companies that refuse to do this, and they're putting out their best work, right?
Yeah.
And so you think about like the team that made Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Shout out Nintendo, dude.
Including people that made Super Mario Brothers, and to think, well, what if they had just laid those guys off when the Wii U wasn't doing well because they made more money because they've been around for 20 years.
Shout out, dude, Nintendo.
And they're not the only ones, right? Like, like Baldur's Gate, those guys, had some words at DICE about all this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, one of our bigger turkeys.
Definitely.
Tacking on to that tack on, unreasonable return to office mandates.
GTA. GTA 6.
So, yeah.
This is one.
There's a lot to be said for the benefits of being in person. We like to be in person.
I love being in person.
You get that energy, you get that team dynamic, you get the ability to like just walk over to somebody's desk and ask them the question, and you're done, and you don't have to wait for 4 hours for them to reply to an email. But there's a lot of places that hired people and made promises that their jobs would be fully remote, and then you're just like, oh no, they're not. You gotta come in now. And it's like I live 3 states away. Yeah, you got to come in at least 3 days a week. Like, your office isn't big enough to hold all of us. Yeah, but we'll figure it out.
Crazy.
Like, but no, like, and then you get these situations like we learned about at Blizzard, where like these two things like compounded on top of each other.
Yeah.
So some person who lived in like Texas or something like that had to sell their house, move to Irvine, pay more in rent than they were paying on their mortgage, did all of that crap, uprooted their family, and then they got laid off. And it's like, you've got people that need to take care of people. You've got people that live in other places.
Yeah.
If you've hired them and have been working, you could figure out the systems to like have that team dynamic. So like, okay, you've got people that you need to have in office, but then you should be a lot more generous with these exceptions.
And be a good human and like communicate. You know what I mean? Like a layoff should never, ever be a blindside. Like, you should give your employees so much notice, especially in this situation where this person like sold their house and everything. You should be like, yo, I got to lay you off in a year or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's economic headwinds and shit and like unforeseen events and things go down, but to disrespect your employees that have like given their whole lives to these jobs, like, it doesn't seem that hard to at least give them a couple months. Like, we always say like, oh, you got to put in your 2 weeks or a month when you quit a job. It should be on the other end too. Like, you should have to give me like months notice before you fire my ass. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, giving people time to sort out their life, like, got to find a new job, a new place to live. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, that's very true. I think, though, as a technicality, I think you don't have to give 2 weeks notice in a lot of places, too. But, like, you're burning courtesy, you're, like, burning bridges. That's the thing. Right. They have so much leverage that if you don't do that, it's like, well, don't use me for recommendation, you know? Or maybe I will be spiteful and, like, sniff around and figure out where you're going to and, you know,
sabotage.
I know that person. I'm going to, you know, write him a little note saying, yo, this guy, you know, just, you don't know. Like, some people are just vindictive like that.
Yeah.
And wrapping up that vein, GameStop pulling the rug out from Game Informer. Didn't give them a chance to spin off and do their own thing. Didn't give them any notice. Didn't give them a chance to, like, hey, let's make a plan and, like, let's write a final issue to all our fans and everybody in the industry.
They did that Kickstarter, though, right? On the side. The Game Informer, like, full...
That's no. That's not Game Informer.
No, that was
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember who. But yeah, EGM, right?
EGM.
I'm pretty sure it was EGM that did that. That is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. GameStop was just like, Game Informer's done.
Yeah.
Kind of like almost out of spite.
Yeah.
And
MinMax did some videos about this, where they like went into a GameStop.
Yeah.
And found
stuff from the vault.
Just like fully pillaged and like put in other. Oh my god, yeah.
All the stuff that they had historically preserved and things that they had brought in, like different former staff members had brought in from home to donate to the vault, so that future writers would have access to things and research. And no, didn't coordinate with them to figure out what's the best thing to do with it. Just like, no, just give them to whatever GameStop managers want to swing by.
I just always think of Breaking Bad with these big ass companies, Damiani. Like, you can't keep getting away with this. Like, God, they do. They just move on, dude. They just fire everyone, move on. Business as usual. It always feels like.
Yeah,
it's the Office Space quote. It's eternal, man. About layoffs. Yep. So Bill Lumberg's stock can go up 1/4 of a point.
Yes, 1/4 of a point. Lumberg.
Last big one, but the big one that you knew was coming. Submitted by Austin Brackeen, Joseph Caruso, Colin Luton, Garrett Pudlowski, and others. Concord. Colin Luton says, I'm sorry that this is a bit of a tirade, but the story of Concord and Firewalk is so fascinating and tragic, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, they spent 8 years making that game. And when it's finally time to show it, the cultural moment and the chord they struck was just 100% wrong. From the jump, the interest was completely zero. Imagine pouring so much capital and man hours into making a thing and keeping it secret for years. And then when you finally reveal it to the world, it's met with deafening indifference.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. Nobody wants your art, and you have no idea why.
Yeah.
It's like social horror in macro.
Completely.
As an artist myself, it's like my worst fear.
Yeah. They dropped the ball. I completely agree. Because, as you've heard us say, this game was good. It was so good. And I'm not just bullshitting you. Like, that was a good video game in its bones, dude, in its foundation. It is a hero shooter, but a damn good hero shooter at that. And, like, everything leading up to it was a miss. The character designs were a miss. The MCU Guardians of the Galaxy fatigue probably played a little bit of a factor. Hero shooters are kind of like old news. They had a beta that just like, even after the beta, I was like, but then I started playing more.
Right.
And it's just like, dude, that game was so fun. Like, I haven't been hooked on a brand new multiplayer IP like that in I don't even know how long. Like, I don't carve out a lot of time because, like, Grumball plays Fortnite, as you know,
right.
and Battlefield is always like my main multiplayer game. It's gone right now, but then it's like, there's always like a second place one. Right now it's Call of Duty, but the point is I don't carve out a lot of time for games like that usually, and I was ready to freaking commit to Concord. Like, the ambitious nature of the storyline going on, we'll never know what, that could have been a goose egg as well. That could have been horrible. Some of those cutscenes were really bad and cringe.
Cutscenes were really weird.
Yeah,
in that place, yeah.
But like, Secret Level might be a window into what the story could have ended up being. And, on the podcast, I really hyped up the Galactic Hub. Like, the lore of Concord was awesome. I loved the lore. And like, all these haters, they have no idea what the lore was. They don't know. They just didn't want to play a hero shooter with like funky looking characters, whatever. Yeah. Like, but I also think Sony,
valid helmet for life.
Yeah. But I think it's absolutely okay calling this a turkey because Sony really, really dropped the ball. They fumbled. Like, it's one thing to fumble.
Gotta be one of the most expensive fumbles.
Yeah, it's one thing to fumble a shitty game like Suicide Squad. Like, that game's not great. I beat that game and I played a shit ton of Concord. Like, playing each of those, like, it's night and day. Concord is a better video game. It played better. It was doing what it tried to do better.
And for, even though it's, didn't hit probably it definitely didn't hit expectations, but Suicide Squad is still in the top 20 of the year.
Yeah.
Like, Concord's numbers were just they're like unbelievable.
Dead on arrival.
Like, is like the
Truly
tracking server not working
Yeah.
kind of numbers. Like, it's just
Yeah. So, but I was gonna say, it's one thing to drop a ball on a not great game that was propped up because it's friggin' Arkham, Batman, Superman, Suicide Squad. It's another thing to drop the ball on like a good game, man, like a really good game. I guess it happened with kind of Prince of Persia there too, and even we hear Rebirth, Damiani fails to meet sales expectations. Like, so you really need a lot. Like, I mean, even 10 years ago, game devs would tell me, like, dude, video games are miracles when they come out and they work. Like, so much has to happen. The game has to work. People have to respond to it. The marketing's got to be good. The timing's got to be good. Like, all of these things need to happen for a game to take off. And it feels like the exact opposite happened with Concord, unfortunately. I will be pouring one out for Concord for a long time.
Got one last one, but before I go, you guys got anything else you want to pull in there? Any off the top of the dome thoughts?
Off the dome. Did PS Plus price go up this year?
I think that was last year.
Okay.
But
I'm always pissed about that. I'm always mad about that.
Just throw it in there.
Yeah. Turkey, Don, how about just the continued overpricing of Mortal Kombat content?
Yeah, that was a turn off. The problem is we've been through it so many times. It's like a roadmap we've seen them follow, so we're so familiar with it. And it's not enough anymore to just be like, oh, the Scream is in it or whatever. You know what I mean? Because we know we've been down that road. So. Too much. Too pricey.
And isn't it the rumor that, they might not do more DLC for that game?
Yeah, the rumors are swirling.
Because of how much nobody bought the last one because of how expensive it is.
That was outrageous.
Yeah, Chaos Reigns came out and I heard nothing. Oof. It's actually really dire. There's this site I use to like track what games I've finished every year, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't even have it listed because that game is so off the radar. Like it had Aftermath, it had MK11 Aftermath, which was fantastic, by the way. Aftermath ruled, but yeah, this one just came and went in silence. Yeah, no other real turkeys. I think the patrons really nailed it. They really got them.
All right, last one from me. I started this year with a new opening segment called The Wrong Question, with the intention of taking common gaming discussions, pulling a hard left turn and a goofy twist that would break the ice.
Did not work out.
Instead, everybody was perpetually confused, didn't know what the heck I was talking about.
It's really good. It's really good, bud. Fun one, dude.
Also this week, on Monday, Mass Effect creator Casey Hudson announced that his current studio, Humanoid Origin, will have to shut down.
What?
Due to a shortfall in funding. The studio was started in Canada in June 2021, and they were working on a multi-platform AAA game in a new sci-fi universe.
This is what I mean. And then you won't hear about this like ever again. Just like how many things come up and gone. Yeah. Just video games are fucking miracles. Enjoy every single one you love.
Amen.
Jeez.
Well, one that you love?
Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon 2. Getting
so pumped.
New DLC on January 27th.
Kingdoms hype. Completely parallel mode to the campaign, not a sequel, not a prequel, just another way to play Darkest Dungeon. Roguelite, Oregon Trail vibes.
Yeah.
So excited.
That's a free update too.
Free.
Yeah.
Coming for free. New enemy type like the Beastmen tribe or something are coming in.
Hunger of the Beast Clan.
Hunger of the Beast Clan.
It's the first of 3 adventure modules. So it's a weird word for that, but yeah. And then there's also the Inhuman Bondage, which is releasing the same day.
Yes.
Which is includes the Catacombs.
The Catacombs, and I also believe the Abomination class as well from Darkest Dungeon 1, yeah. So it'll be a new region, a new character. With each character, too, comes like the little story beats as well that you can find at the like hero altars. You'll get a little like mini game hero thing.
Got it.
So, and I forget how much the Duelist was, but those are usually only like $7 or $8. Those aren't bad.
Okay.
And then the Kingdoms mode being free is mind-blowing. I mean, you're going to see when we stream. I'm going to put like tens of hours into that free mode. It's going to be wild. It's going to be very fun. I'm very excited.
I missed this last week, but there is now a trailer for Ratatan.
Yeah! This is Ratatan. Patapon. Yo, play Patapon, everybody. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so this is the spiritual successor to Patapon.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks great. It sounds great. They also put out a playlist with 5 preview tracks from the game.
Sick.
And I listened to that last night while I was putting this podcast together. And,
sick.
And because they're preview tracks, they don't like loop super well or anything like that. But it's like I could have just kept listening to them. They were really fun, really good stuff.
Dude, it looks so good.
Yeah. It's like so big and sharp and
I think Patapon, I haven't checked. I think Patapon is on like PS Plus or something, or like I think so. But they are phenomenal games. Back in my handheld days, I loved Patapon.
Damiani?
Perfect handheld game, dude. Bite-sized little levels. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I don't think I actually ever played Patapon. I played Loco Roco. That's the one.
Got it. Yeah.
Sick,
Yeah,
sick.
I know they're not exactly the same, but I always thought about them whenever they would be one or the other would be mentioned.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely kind of similar. There's something about
They're in
them
the
that's
same
similar.
lane.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're in the
yeah,
same
yeah.
lane, kind of. Yeah.
It's like they don't play the same. They
Yeah.
don't look the same, but there's
Yeah.
something about them.
Yeah.
that are the same.
They're playing the same sport, in different ballparks, but same sport. Yeah. Very excited for that.
Always a Ubisoft story.
Oh.
Microsoft has had to pause updates for some Windows 11 users
This one, yeah.
because the new Windows 11 update is causing Ubisoft games to crash, including Star Wars Outlaws, like 3 recent Assassin's Creed games, and Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Jeez.
So apparently it's detecting whether those games are installed, and then if like you've got the game installed, like, oh nope, we're not going to update your PC right now, while they work with Ubisoft to figure it out. But obviously, if you don't have it installed right now,
Yeah.
it's just going to update, and then you install, and you're like, what? Why is my game crashing so much? Why does the performance suck?
Crazy.
Because of Windows Update.
Freaking Windows.
Freaking Windows.
Star Wars Outlaws completely removing the forced stealth sections of the game. How crazy is that? They're now, if you get caught, it used to be auto fail in some missions. Now you can just start guns blazing.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that insane though? When people make a game for like 4 or 5 years and they release it and everyone is just like, what do you do? No. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll change it. Like we were working on this for 4 or 5 years and immediately you told us we were wrong, so we'll change it. Like, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It reminds me of even like Sifu a little bit, not having difficulties. Remember, there was so
Right.
much backlash there. And it's like, you know, when you're making a game, you're in your little bubble. Like,
Yeah.
you don't always know how
yeah.
people are going to respond. So.
I mean, the Sea of Stars update that just came out was the same kind of thing. They're just like, yeah, the prologue's too slow and boring, so we just redo the prologue. You know? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's wild.
Xbox is killing the Xbox One avatar editor.
Smart.
The app will be taken offline on January 9th, quote, due to low engagement and our shift in focus toward delivering other player experiences.
Yeah.
So you'll no longer be able to access those avatars or their accessories, and if you bought any of that stuff in the past year or so, you'll get a refund. Oddly enough, though, the 360 avatars will still be available to edit in the Xbox Original Avatars app.
Interesting.
I didn't even know this stuff existed.
Crazy.
It's so hidden away. Of course, there's low engagement because what Xbox are you telling anybody this stuff exists?
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Yeah, I'm about to shout out right now. Shout out to movie watching as a group with your friends. You'd bring your little avatar into the movie theater. You'd all sit there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then the movie would play. Little watch parties.
Like PlayStation Home.
A little, not as like advanced as that. You didn't like
Right.
actually walk around or anything. It was like your characters were just
Yeah,
kinda
like
sitting
Mystery
there.
Science Theater silhouette. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out though, it's cool. that was very futuristic at the time.
It's just
was
funny
crazy.
that the old ones are sticking around because the old ones were better anyways.
Yeah,
I remember when I got the new one on Xbox One, I'm like, yeah, doesn't really look like me as well. Like the hair is weird and the face is like.
I always just have
hate it.
like really ratty clothing on my avatars because I wear ratty clothes, just like
Right.
a hoodie and
Yeah, yeah.
jeans. And
Yeah, find the
always,
jeans with the
and,
holes in
like,
'em.
Short hair. And it's like, okay, it looks like me. Enough. Very easy.
Don, roll this next guy here. We got a teaser and some promising info on Dante's Rising.
Speaking of the golden joysticks, do you know that Rockstar accepted the award in person for the most anticipated game?
Nice.
So they will be at the Game Awards probably, where they will show
Golden Joysticks takes place in Europe. And
where they will show
So-
or announce new GTA 6 information. Bloodworth, are you ready? I'm just putting it out there.
We'll see.
I'm just putting it out there.
Dante's Ring, though, Huber.
Yeah, this looks sick.
So this is from the Star Wars Industries who did The Invincible last year. Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Super cool.
Yeah,
based on a
Forbidden
Polish
Planet
novel.
vibes.
Yeah. But they described this as an anti-combat action-adventure RPG with survival.
Anti-combat. That's sick.
Anti-combat.
That's really cool.
Yeah, with survival and arcade elements. Players must face molten lava flows, powerful earthquakes, and scorching volcanic fires, armed with fireproof armor and stylized retro weapons.
Dude. This vehicle looks Dawn-coded. Like, Dawn wants to ride this thing around.
How did you know?
I knew it. I knew it.
Funny. I was just thinking, man, that looks fun. Yeah.
As if that was not enough challenge, Dante's Ring will consistently push players to navigate life and death through strategic planning and ingenuity, all while navigating complex moral choices that will shape their story. The main questions are, how much are you willing to sacrifice to save one more life?
Jessica!
I do wonder if there will be a Jessica. But it's like you're a volcanic firefighter or
This is
something.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, or rescuing people from a volcano.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. But
Cool
I want
premise.
to see more.
Yeah, intrigued for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully another look at the Game Awards or too soon? Like a little extra, like a little teaser?
I think if they were going to be at the Game Awards too, they might have said that. But because this was at Golden Joysticks, maybe they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see.
yeah.
Exciting. Game Awards excitement. Heating up.
Shovel Knight is doing its first ever live concerts,
Dude.
celebrating a decade.
Tell me you're going.
Can you believe that?
I kind of can. The way they've like supported that. Shout out, dude. How much support that game has received just with DLCs and even spin-offs and stuff. Like, that whole franchise has been really loved and nurtured, and they've done it so right. I mean, even the like Shovel Knight showing up in other properties, like people coming over into Shovel Knight, Kratos. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great.
just so cool. They've done so well with that.
Yeah. Decade of Shovel Knight. They're gonna have a sneak peek song from Mina the Hollower as well.
Cool.
And that'll be January 19th in LA and February 22nd in New York.
Nice. When is Mina out?
I don't know if we know yet.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. No rush. No rush.
And final, almost breaking news. Right before the podcast, we learned that after 31 years, Shuhei Yoshida is leaving PlayStation on January 15th.
End of a legendary era, dude. Shout out, Shu. One of the all-time greats to ever do it. Shout out. You will be missed.
Damiani?
I would say that's a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
These feel like they just like kind of like dropped these. I mean, maybe it was said like before they were planning, but like
No.
the dates and stuff, it just like comes out of nowhere sometimes, it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what is it this full retirement after or
I was trying to...
Going to Microsoft.
I didn't like... I didn't fully read the blog, but I was like skimming through it to try to find, like, does it say what he's doing next? And it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to indicate just that
Probably
he's moving on to something new. So I don't think he's retiring. I think if he's retiring, they would say he was retiring.
Yeah, they're saying he
So
tweeted
continuing?
that he wasn't leaving the industry.
all right.
Yeah.
You give it a few months, you let
Nice.
the Sony farewell happen, and then it's like, okay, I'm doing this now. Yeah.
Not losing him completely yet. That's
Yeah.
good.
Whoever
Good.
gets him, wherever he's going.
Like, what a legacy, right? Like,
I
just
know.
the years of developing
Nintendo's
games,
getting him.
Unbelievable.
And then, like, the
Decades.
Demon Souls.
Yeah.
That
Redemption.
that situation.
Honestly, like, if they disregarded, or if they didn't disregard Demon Souls as hard initially, it's like, then would they have doubled down on, like, getting Bloodborne and stuff? Like, what is that trajectory if they treat it differently? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last couple years of him like really like bringing the indies back to the forefront at PlayStation after they had been kind of distant for a few years from indies.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
one of the greatest.
Dude just lights up a room. So jolly, so willing to just
nicest
chat whenever.
Nicest human of all time.
Yeah, it's like
nicest human of all time.
He's like, he's like the hug of the video game industry.
100%. Well put. Well put, dude. Perfectly put.
Yeah. So, all the respect to you, Shu, and hopefully we will see you around the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jeff will do something with him at the Game Awards.
Yeah, a little tribute.
Get him on stage.
Honestly.
Yep.
Should be a tribute for sure.
All right. It is time for Love and Respect.
Love and
Respect.
From Mr. Showtime.
Yo.
Hello, allies. I have a very important Thanksgiving question for you.
Double XP, baby.
Brown or white gravy with your mashed potatoes?
Brown. 100%. It's not even close. Brown.
Neither, because I generally don't eat mashed potatoes. I don't usually get gravy on them.
Whoa! Why?
And then I can't eat them anyway because Thanksgiving Day is not a cheat day for me, so I have to try and stay within the limits.
Come on.
Damian.
You gotta
move the calendar.
Thursday's too weird of a day. Maybe if it was on a Friday or Sunday, I could adjust it. No, I did last Thanksgiving too, because I was home for Thanksgiving for the first time last time. Just the turkey, just the stuffing, and one other thing was the veggies, like grilled veggie stuff that's there.
But you don't take a plate of leftovers for the when you do have a cheat day at least?
Yeah, well, Friday or Saturday you can do it though.
Yeah,
lots of people eat their Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe
because on my real cheat day I go other places.
Caniac combo.
Good grief.
Yeah,
Caniac combo, baby. Yeah, let's go.
I don't know if you brought Raisin Cane's for Thanksgiving. I don't know. There might be some temptation there.
Put some gravy on that chicken Big Mac.
Some of that, where's the orange gravy and the orange cane sauce?
A smothered chicken Big Mac. That's what I'm
Put that in the mashed potato. Cane sauce and mashed potatoes. Someone try that, please.
White gravy on a chicken Big Mac. Oh, that sounds good.
Don, what do you think?
I'm always brown brown gravy on Thanksgiving. I don't often come across white gravy. I'm only eating on a chicken fried steak or biscuits. Biscuits, right? Yeah.
Biscuits and
or
gravy.
Chicken fried chicken, I guess.
Great call.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out chicken fried chicken.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting when you like distinguish them, because it's like when I think of brown gravy, like I'm usually thinking of like a very specific thing, very specific flavor profile. But like when you talk about white gravy, I'm like I feel like I've had like variations of white gravy, like some that are like more spicier with more sausage
cheese, like
and
cheddar,
some of that. Yeah, and so I was like, I don't know, I'm down for all the gravy.
Same, same.
Just give me some gravy.
Yeah, I just think my mom makes like a brown one. It's so good.
Yeah. From Jason Wojnar.
Yo.
Stalker 2 has a licensed soundtrack of over 400 Ukrainian songs.
Whoa.
In addition to a lot of groups I've seen live, there are songs from people I have hung out with,
dude, and
even went to school with. Shout out to Doc Trio. Sorry, awesome. There's a note to Isla, but Isla's not here. My other friend, Alevtina, is even featured on one of the in-game podcasts.
Cool.
Is this what feeling seen feels like? I'm not Ukrainian, but Reaction Shot subscribers know I champion Ukrainian art all day, every day. When has a game ever so accurately represented you or your interests? Depending on what type of crowd Blood used to run with, GTA 6 might give him the same feeling when it comes out.
I don't know. I have a lot of like weird passions, so I don't know. Like Mafia. I love like open world shit. I love Mafia. I love history.
Yeah,
so, like,
but
Mafia,
you're not something that you've like
not like my
stumbled
life.
on in a video game. There's like, oh, this is from real like other parts of my life that I'm not expecting.
Not really.
Damiani, Don.
What was that Reservoir Rat game or something that Hubert? That Hubert.
What is this?
In Slack, he posted something of some game that he said it reminds this is like my spirit animal game or something, and I felt it was true. Reservoir Rat. It's like Reservoir Dogs, but you're a rat in a trench coat with a Tommy gun on the cover.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, there it is. The Game Boy cover. Good grief.
It looks like such a Dawn game,
Oh,
dude.
sure.
It looks like such a Dawn game. Yeah.
It's in the random channel if you have Slack open.
Look at that thing.
I'm trying to bring it up. Hold on.
Look at that
just
character.
give Dawn a
The
moment.
shades, too, Dawn.
My gosh.
One moment. I'm bringing it up.
I'm like, that's not even a Tommy gun, right? Like he's holding
looks
it
like
like a
it's a
Tommy
big
gun.
pistol.
Yeah, it's a
actually,
big
isn't it?
pistol because he's like a little rat.
There it is.
So funny.
Reservoir Rat.
My
Switch
game.
online when?
Yeah.
We're getting that next Monday?
If Wave Race 2 comes out, it will be made explicitly for Dawn.
Oh my god.
Explicit.
I feel it will. We're finally around the corner. I've said it many times over the decades.
Switch 2 launch.
We are around the corner from this game coming out.
I agree, Dawn. I
think it's
truly
gonna be
believe it in
launching-
my
I really
bones.
feel it. I
Same.
really feel it.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of things like this that have hit me from different circles from when I was doing a lot more with music scene stuff. Death Stranding, you know how like they have those moments like when you come out and Kojima just has this awesome song playing from probably some band you never heard of before if it weren't for Kojima. Well, one of them featured a singer named Layla Adu that I know and I
Sick.
met in like downtown LA.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, one of my bassist friends was playing there and he was talking about how great she was and it was like, you know, she's from New Zealand or something. It's like so I bought her records and friends on Facebook and all of that stuff and it was just like and then so like I'm just playing Death Stranding and I'm like I know this voice. What the heck is happening right now?
That's awesome.
Kojima. And then another one years before that, there was a big Assassin's Creed 4 like accolades trailer that had a song from a band named Sir Sly.
Sir Sly.
And they're actually kind of big now. But what was crazy was I knew these guys like when they were still in college and like finding their footing. And so the drummer used to be the drummer at my church, and I went to some of their shows, and they had like they were under like a name like Brothers at Sea, and then they were under a name like Royal Sons, and then eventually they went to Sir Sly, and like different people like different arrangements of band and that stuff. But like I remember going to like their shows in Hollywood and stuff, and just telling them like, dude, like I know you guys, like you got it. You are gonna hit it big. Like I know for sure.
Yeah.
And then to like
They
be
did.
at game trailers and I play an Assassin's Creed trailer. I'm like,
That's
what is
crazy.
happening?
That's crazy. That's big time.
Yeah. So, good stuff.
Dope.
Let's play a game. From Cody Spencer.
Yo.
Hello, allies. I've got a new game for you, but first, I want to say that I agree with Blood about Dragon Age the Veilguard being like cilantro, because I have heard nothing but negative comments and reactions to the game, and even though I've heard the specific criticisms, I just don't see it, and I'm really enjoying it.
Hell yeah.
So, Blood, you aren't alone.
Hell yeah.
Then Alexander Zirinov pops in.
Uh-oh.
Blood is definitely not alone in liking Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Okay.
The year isn't over yet, and I need to play a couple already released games, but at this moment, this is my goatee by a mile. Okay, back to Cody and to the actual game. All right, so the game I brought is simple. You're going to recast the original Avengers, but with video game characters. I will provide choices for each role on the team, and you have to vote on which character makes the team.
Chill. Chill.
If you enjoy this game, I might bring it back with an expanded roster.
Easy.
All right, first one,
I'm ready.
the Tech Genius. Are we going to go with Morden Solis?
So is this like Iron Man?
Maybe?
Like, are we actually doing Avengers or just like a superhero team?
Must be
No,
Iron Man.
they're
Tony
based
Stark.
on Avengers, but I'm not sure exactly
Okay.
which Avenger.
Let's say this is Iron Man.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
Yep.
Probably.
Okay.
Although the next one could also be Iron Man, so I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
The Tech Genius, though. Morden Solis from Mass Effect, Otacon from Metal Gear, or Dr. Thomas Light? Oh, there's 4 actually. Dr. Thomas Light from Mega Man, or Professor Oak from Pokemon.
Professor Oak, dude, he has like a punished element to him a little bit, I feel like.
Punished
What?
Oak?
Yeah.
Punished
Punished
Oak.
Why does
Oak.
he have a punished?
Yeah. Just he seems like he's seen a lot of things in his life, you know. He's been around.
Okay.
He's seen Pokemon die. He's held dying Pokemon in his hands.
What lore is this?
Yeah.
What version of Pokemon did you play or watch?
This is all implied lore, dude. This is implied knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Done.
All right.
You're in?
I might have said Morden, but
Yeah, dude. Morton Solus is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't. I guess. See, it's. I just keep thinking Iron Man in my head, and like, Solus is like in the lab kind of guy. Like, obviously he can get down and like attack and defend and fight. He does.
He does.
But he's still more of a behind the scenes lab guy. So if we're just saying tech genius, not Iron Man, yes.
I mean,
But I can't see Morton Solus like suiting up, leading the team.
But none of these guys are. Yeah.
well, you could say Dr. Light could build like a Maverick Hunter armor for himself and wear it and go out and have like AI be in it and be like.
Morden is like the only one out of this group that would actually be in a combat team.
Morden, yeah.
All right, let's go Solus. 10 out of 10. The Xenophage, dude. Look out. Look out for the Xenophage, man.
Xenophage.
An intense, dude. Shout out to Rex.
Next.
Xenophage Chronicles.
Dude, shout out to Mass Effect. God.
Next is the inspiring leader.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Master Chief, Commander Shepard,
Dude.
Princess Zelda, or Sonic.
Not Sonic.
I think Shepard knows how to manage a team much better than Halo. Master Chief. Master Chief is a lone wolf. He has some team ups every now and then, but he's primarily a lone wolf. Shepard leads a team. Shepard.
Yeah.
I guess, I said no to Sonic originally, but like he also, I think, does his friends rally behind him. Like they need him, it feels like.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah.
And he's got some good one-liners and stuff. So he kind of like, and he's very much in the face of enemies. Like he has that ego to him as well. That's like he's like got the confidence.
Don, any thoughts?
I mean, Sonic would be good. He can always lead. You know, he can stay ahead of the pack. No one can ever get in front of him. So he's a natural leader.
All right, Sonic it is.
Nice.
We're all going to die now.
But he's gonna go fast. We're gonna go fast doing it.
Final mission is failed with Sonic leading. I'm just saying.
The god/demigod, Kratos.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Kratos.
Palutena from Kid Icarus.
Kratos.
Or Amaterasu from Marvel vs. Capcom.
Or Okami.
That's an interesting.
Marvel versus Capcom, not Okami.
Kratos from PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah, Kratos from PlayStation.
Kratos.
All-Stars Battle Royale.
Kratos.
Any objections?
I agree.
Kratos.
Kratos.
Yep. We love Kratos in this house.
Which is interesting because that kind of segues and makes it difficult on the next one.
Ooh.
The rampaging monster,
Ooh.
Blanca from Street Fighter.
Good one.
Alex Mercer from Prototype. What a pull.
Dude, Mercer. Shout out to Prototype 2 as well, even more so.
Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII. Or Chris Redfield from Resident Evil Village.
From Village.
The rampaging monster, Chris Redfield.
I'm kind of siding with Blanca on this, but Alex Mercer's
Same.
pretty good.
I mean, Blanca is green like
Dude.
Hulk.
Blanca to be able to like roll in a ball and like perfect complement with Sonic. You're gonna be like going in the ball and then like charge him up and stuff. And like, oh dude, yeah, we gotta think of synergy here.
Blanca could do his little roll thing and like Sonic could run on top of him to like spin him faster. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Nice.
It's like Hulk throwing Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which is more in the cards than ever before. It's gonna happen.
The Spy with a Dark Past. Joanna Dark from Perfect Dark.
Black Widow.
Ada Wong from Resident Evil.
Can't trust her though.
Snake from Metal Gear. Or Agent 47 from Hitman. Maybe the toughest category so far.
Yeah, this is a tough one. So
Snake isn't quite vibing for me.
Yeah.
But the other three are.
Snake's too lone wolf.
name them one more time.
Joanna Dark, Ada Wong, Snake, or Agent 47.
So yeah, Ada, Black Widow too though. She operates off book and does side ops and shit. Still, Ada is so sketch. What's her real name? Tell me right now. What's Ada's real name? What's her mission? What's her objective? What is it? What's her end game? What's her goal? We still don't know. 47 also, I'd be nervous. 47 has a code to the job, but I'd be nervous about competitors offering him more cash and he turns on us. Honestly.
Right.
Joanna Dark here seems like a logical, really good choice. Like, knows how to probably be part of a team. Mm-hmm. Super good with gadgets, infiltration missions,
and extraterrestrial experience.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial experience. Yes.
Yeah. So they they know how to deal with that already.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, what does Agent 47 do when he sees an alien?
Kills it.
Figures out a way to make it a costume.
Kills it.
Yeah,
puts
figure
on
out
its skin,
what does that costume
wears
look like?
its skin, hollows out its body, and wears its skin.
Oh man, Hitman, dude, it's crazy. We're probably not gonna get a new Hitman for so long because they're doing Bond.
Oh yeah. But they gave us so much.
We had so much. But like that era now is done for a bit. So just what a gift, that Hitman trilogy.
Last one. Right. The Marksman.
Ooh.
Carl Fairburn from Sniper Elite.
Dude.
Hanzo from Overwatch. Quiet from Metal Gear. Or Mordecai from Borderlands.
Good.
The guy with the little hawk.
Yeah. Hanzo's pretty Hawkeye-ish.
Yeah.
It's pretty hype.
I don't have like a lot of
Elite person.
I don't have a lot of attachment to any of these.
He loves killing Nazis, so that's a plus.
True.
That's good.
Yeah. What was the third one?
I vote Quiet.
Quiet. From Metal Gear.
I vote Quiet.
Dude, Quiet's pretty hype.
I think she fit in well.
Quiet's definitely interesting.
Is she the most skilled sniper out of this whole group?
Probably. Who's the first one? Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Well, Carl Fairburn.
Yeah, he's tough. Probably a little better, but she's also
right
a 10 out of 10.
Neck.
That's a good boss fight, dude. I love that boss fight.
Carl or Quiet?
Quiet.
Quiet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Right.
Quiet hype.
Our Avengers team is assembled.
Boom.
Morden Solus, Sonic, Kratos, Blanca.
We need some art of this.
Joanna Dark.
Please.
And Quiet.
We need a movie poster.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Clown Boss.
Yep. Hook us up. Hook it up.
It is time for bets. Before we get into the bets, we're very close. So it is time for a reminder of the 2024 stakes. The winner of 2024 will get, in the 2025 season, you will be crowned the Fancy One. You can simply go by the Fancy One. You can attach it to your current animal, such as the Fancy Manatee. Or you will be able to choose a new animal to go with your fancy title. You will get one sketchy token that will allow you to change another player's bet. So if you're in a close race, you can throw that token.
Blood, I could be in
change their
first
bet.
place and you could be in last, and I would still use it against you.
You can use it however you like.
You know how you're going to use it too. Don't undercut me.
Yeah, don't undercut me, Blood. Using that token.
The winner will pick a game, and everybody else is going to have to draw box art for that game. But this is not just like the game as you see it. It's inspired by a photo that Parasite Paladin sent us that had the Elder Scrolls, but it was like a scroll with a face of like an old man in a cane. It was like the Elder Scroll.
God, so a pun.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the winner picks.
So Metal Gear Solid would be a picture of like a metal, like a gear that's
Potentially,
solid metal or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
And finally, the winner will get an illustration of their mascot animal by Sarah Knight. Yeah.
That's high stakes.
Yeah. So Sarah, if you have to draw a centipede, I'm sorry. I know you want to draw Mudang, but hopefully we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. We're close.
It's anybody's game.
Now, the thing that I think most of us have forgotten, there are also loser stakes. So just because you're lower score doesn't mean there isn't a reason to get points right now.
Yeah.
The loser is going to have to stream one of the lowest rated games from 2024, chosen by our patrons. That'll have to be a 3-hour stream. Then you need to write a 2-page story.
2-page?
Written from the perspective of one of the game's NPCs. And you will need to read that story aloud on this podcast before the end of January.
I didn't remember the story clause.
You do not want last place. Holy shit.
I did not remember the story clause.
Wow.
And before we change the scores,
I don't want to win. I just don't want to lose.
our scoreboard is currently tied
Yeah.
at 11 for the Stealthy Centipede, Wet Hummingbird, and Effervescent Hippopotamus. The Optimistic Rat, Gabby, has 8. Fashionable Manatee, Dawn, has 7. And the Pompous Cocker Spaniel, Damiani, has 6.
6, 7, 8.
So, yeah, there is room for
Jeez.
any of those 3 to be last.
There's like 5 or 6 more bets at least, I feel like.
There are 3 more bets.
3 more total.
3 more points to pick up,
Including this one right now?
including this one.
So after this, there'll be 2.
Yep. So, covered all that. Oh yeah, so if there is still a tie when we see the results for the December 12th episode at the TGAs, there will be a tiebreaker. Tie on either side, top or bottom.
The tiebreaker is a game of Mario Party.
TBD. TBD tiebreaker. Now, for this week's bet, Anton Blast is out next week on December 3rd. I'm going to go to the Switch store page this time, and I want to know what the file size for the game will be. I've looked up some file sizes just so
I'm like sweating now.
give
dude.
reference
Why
to
did you
everybody.
Name this is too intense.
9 Souls is 2.7 gigabytes on Switch.
Shout out.
Bow is 4 gigabytes. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is 6.7 gigabytes. Animal Well is 84 megabytes.
That's so funny.
It's tiny. Balacho is 156 megabytes. And the Super NES app, including every Super NES game that's on Switch Online, is 252 megabytes. So, Damiani, Pompous Cocker Spaniel, what's your bet?
I'm going to go with 88 megabytes.
Anton Blast, 88 megabytes.
For 88 miles per hour, Back to Future. Let's go.
I like it.
Shout out.
Huber, Stealthy Centipede,
I put 1.4 gigs.
1.4 gigabytes. Isla is out. Dawn, Fashionable Manatee,
I put 785 megs.
785 megabytes.
Yes.
Here comes Blood to undercut us all.
Here comes
yeah,
Gabby,
it's like 10 megs.
Optimistic Rat, 1
Oh my goodness.
megabyte.
1 megabyte.
Dear Lord.
Did you mean
okay.
gigabyte?
She meant
Gigabyte.
gigabyte.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We'll allow
that's-
that.
Allowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A floppy disk is
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
wondering.
more than a
Yeah, yeah.
megabyte. And I don't even remember what I put. What I put? Oh, 1.3.
Gigabyte?
I'm stuck right between
1.21
Oh,
Gigabytes.
Okay.
This guy,
Get ready.
Dude, every time I write my bet, too, I'm doing this. Dude, this guy, man.
Every time you write your bet, I'm looking at the screen, but okay.
Is there some kind of glare, dude?
Reflection,
Some kind of a
dude.
reflection?
The overhead cam.
Check those angles.
No.
There's a camera right over your head, Huber.
That could happen in there. But no, they're in here. They're in here.
This guy, man.
Last week's bet, 9 Souls is out now on consoles, like we said. Last week I asked everyone how many user ratings 9 Souls would have on the PlayStation Store page.
I botched this.
Right before we record this podcast. So before we sat down and did the bets, I checked to see where we're at. Damiani bet that there would be 300 user ratings. Huber bet 145. Isla bet 3,000. Don bet 1,800. Gabby bet 900. And I bet 999 for 9 Souls. The answer was 108.
1,000.
Huber is the winner,
Dang it.
bringing
Good
the
one.
scores to 12 for the Stealthy Centipede. And then 11 for the Wet Hummingbird and Effervescent Hippopotamus.
Close one, dude. Jeez.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Thank you for sticking with us through our turkeys and through 2024 and through me rambling about Game Boy color palettes. If you've been enjoying all of this episode, please take a minute to support us and drop a few bucks in there to keep this happening into 2025 and beyond. At $5 a month on Patreon, you get this podcast 2 days early or even earlier this week. You get it ad-free. You get 2 bonus Love and Respect questions. You get to submit to Love and Respect. And you get in our official Discord where you can share photos of your Thanksgiving meal and vote on top 10s and do all kinds of fun stuff. We have some other tiers above that, and we have our platinum producers who get a shout out on this podcast each and every week. Plus, if you're at any producer level, you get Brandon Jones to read your name
Legend.
at the end of the month, which is happening this week too.
Absolute legend.
But this month's shout outs go to Jabawabs and El Thanis. Shout out. Short week this week, so not too much to promote, but be sure to check out our Star Fox 64 stream.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So fun, dude.
One
of the greats.
It is one of the greats. Thank you
Yeah.
for the votes.
Yeah.
We got our community showcase this week as well. Next week, we're getting back to Mario Party for Huber.
Yes.
Going to the mall with Huber.
Unlocked all the levels. Ready to go.
Nice.
2 classics and 5 new ones. So 7 boards. Very generous. And the best part about it is each board has a little gimmick. That's why
Nice.
I'm choosing the mall.
They're all a little different.
The mall is going to be fun.
And a reminder that our merch shop has reopened. Thank you to everyone that's gone and picked up some merch. That is easyallies.myspreadshop.com. easyallies.myspread, SPREAD, shop, SHOP.com. Huber,
Yo.
since you won that bet, you're in the lead, but you also get to shout out anything or anyone that's on your mind this week. You get the final word, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
Shout out to everyone that has supported us this year. Thanksgiving's coming around, and I give thanks to all of you who have just continued to support us, continued to watch us, continued to hang out with us, and words cannot express how much that means to all of us. So thank you. That's awesome, and we love you. And what's the other one?
Final word.
Final word is, I am convinced GTA 6 will some way be at the game. The most anticipated game is there. They're going to be there. I feel like if they don't show something specifically, they're going to say when we get to see it next. Like, hell or high water, we will know more about GTA 6 from the Game Awards. I know it in my bones. I feel it. And other than that, just have a really lovely holiday. Get that double XP, play a lot of games, spend time with your loved ones, and enjoy really good food. Love you.
Series S, you can put it in the bathroom.
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Jabawabs, L. Thanis, Jay Shi, Jesper Popmel Dufay, Roy Sung, 44 Stars, Alexander Azarianov, Andri, Beaten Down Brian, Brandon White, Brian Kruger, Colton Pichone, Daniel Martinek, Dmitry Zidis, Douglas Chomich, Faraz Rizvi, Garrett Holfish, G. Levin, Hayden Hargraves, Jesse Blue, Jesus R., Matthew Pauling, Miguel Rivas, Mo Grant, Paul Sway, Ronka Q, Robert Stoffel, Sam Handrick, Stomps, Stepan Hakobian, The Banana Forklift Killer, Chum Nguyen, Zigazich, Anish Dor, Aaron Haney, Accounts Payable, Adam Henry, Alex Monaco, Alex Stories, Anacroft, Anthony F., Anthrioni, Arthur Lau, Austeel, Barry Tomasini, Brian Foster, Bunny Chen, C.S. Lewis, Katie Garza, Carlos Delgato, Chief Uhu, Chris Eccles, Christopher Santis, Clay Roberts, Colin Montoot, Connell Sumlin, Corey Jackson, Corey Landega, Crumb Eyes, Culinary Stud, Cyberboa, Derry, Dan Sebring, Daniel Kozlowski, Daniel Wong, David Aniki, Enya Hink, Eric Tobias, Espen Gotchman, Ethereal Ether, Forever Ender, Forrest, Project, Gabriel Smith, Jen Woofles, Gino Elite, Gustav Strombaum, Harrison Holt, Isun Chor, Ian Anderson, Jack Forrest, Jan Nicholas Frogshirt Tilk, Gerald, Jesse Fish, Jesse Wilkeson, John McCullough, John Prey, Junya Motomura, Carl Williams, Keegan Boyle, Kevin Gillet, Kroldemort, Leon Keys, Luis Ibarra, Lion Crown 19, Marco Hernandez, Materia Addict, Matthias Clare, Max Miller, Miguel, Nefertiti Jenkins, Nycrypt, Nick Hill Sharma, Ninja Kitty Meow, Ono Turtle, Oru Gachino, Pablo Rodriguez, Panamuse, Patrick Held, Pete Shoemaker, Pixelated, Pulphead, Ray Aldiar, Raymond Wheeler III, Reed Johnson, Richard Ma, Ritz 1906, Robert Seven Lee, Robin, Ryan Rutger, Sage Mode Q, Salvers, Samuel Copeland, SD Prima, Sebastian Trier, Servino, Sean Johnstone, Cito, Sneaky Gato, Strikeout NZ, Sultab, Tadashi 047, Taffy 9K, Tim Strothman, Tomovi Kioni, Travis Ing, Trizac, Wouter DeHaze, Yami Zetsumi, Zach Wojnar.